here on this How to Trade show. We'll see you tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel. Sharif with the...
Welcome to the Afternoon Rundown, guys, the show where you decide what we talk about every day. Neil and Sean, they're locked, they're loaded, they're ready to take the tickers that you voted for. Make sure to vote on the midday show with Adair and I every day. Wow, what a move down midday there it was. The triple Qs got into, all-time high territory, got into the 504s off that positive CPI print, but that is as good as it would do, down 2 1/3% right now. A lot of market weakness, most notably in the Mag 7 names as well as the chips. But good news is there's good market breadth. Other areas are picking up the slack, but you wouldn't know it by looking at the futures chart. First ticker, though, Tesla. Wow, what a move down midday. We got news that Elon was postponing that launch of the robo-taxi ever since we got more competitors of his looking to front run him. Now they may not need to do that. He's pushing that date back to October, guys. Did you trade Tesla?
No. I can't imagine why Tesla the number one today. That's certainly surprising. Obviously, it was a little bit different at the beginning of the day than after the news and what we're seeing right now, because Tesla nearing double digits to the downside, giving back the entirety of the last week. If you take an actual, it's actually a little bit more than last week, but because you were down here on Thursday, Friday of last week, but the last week of trading looking like it's interesting. Baba just got to VWAP. We'll get to that in a second. But Tesla, it was an early breakout. For me, it was a dip buy that thank goodness we got away from at VWAP, because once it lost VWAP, it just lost everything for good. I only had one short, and that was down at $247. I was on the bid when the news came out. Thank goodness we got out of it right away. And then when it tried to make a bottom at 250, I took one shot at the 250 level. The news was a little bit slow to get disseminated, but once it hit, there was all kinds of continuation. I'm glad I sold some in the personal account, but I just want to observe on the daily chart. If you look at that trend breakout on Tesla, if it were to pull back into where that trend break was, that's another $18 from here. So you'd have to double this move to get back to where the trend top was on the same. Oh, and the robo-taxi, bad for Tesla. It was good news for Uber, but Uber just broke trend a second ago. Not a second ago. There. I had this drawn and I hit save. I thought I did, but I didn't. It broke this trend. So after the news hit, Uber had that upward trend. We're talking about that as a lesson of the day, at 71.20 level that was holding as we were talking, then held the higher low, then held that higher low. When it lost that trend, I went into the short trade. So not off the top, but off this trend break since the news. So good news for Uber, although it's starting to come back in. It was good news for Lyft as well. But Tesla, I guess all that exuberant buying, that's what happens. If it squeezes up, when it comes back down, sometimes it's twice as fast.
My stream never transfers over. I must be doing.
I actually think I always have to have it up and live. Like I have to have it clicked on it.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe it's because I'm not. Yeah. It's like on and on.
I don't think you should have to, but
who knows? I wasn't here. Okay. That's good. That's good. I'm trying to host a show here. All right. So
for me, good grief.
For me, come on. All right, so yeah, I wasn't here. I had to go to the passport office all as well. That went really, really well, in and out of there in a couple seconds. But, that was the sad news. And we talked about this with Brian Shannon, Michael Noss, both on Monday and Tuesday. And we've been talking about it here on the show, of course, as well. And that was the sad state that what if Tesla, and that was my whole thing. It was, when they come through, what about that news as far as robo-taxis are concerned? And we were talking about waiting for August 8th. The reason why I remember this, and Adara will attest to this, because August 8th was also someone's reporting that day. And she's like, oh, same day that they report. And I was like, oh my God, it's going to be a big day there. So yeah, look, we're excited for it. A good trade there for Tesla. It's a good thing we got some out yesterday at 265 or the day before. So we're happy with that right there. Adara, what's the other thing that's happening August 8th? You and I talked about this. Split day of some sort. That's okay. Don't worry about it, Adara. We'll think about it. Please do not stress. Yeah, no problem. Anyways, big day, August 8th. We got the news early. That's the whole thing about Tesla. I wish we would have had it. We didn't. We weren't here. No excuse. But yeah, we do not have Tesla trade today. I'll look at it in the afternoon. Right now, I got to talk about this crazy Amazon position, but we'll do that when we get back about.
Shout out to the passport office. Because no, I'm just saying, people give so much grief about.
No,
sometimes,
it
like,
was the lineup was rammed, but
like services. But if you, depending on what you have to do, obviously it's rammed for everyone that's trying to get like a passport last minute, all that kind of stuff. But if you have like a simple thing to get done, I'm telling you,
it can be easier than.
Sometimes it's easier, and they get a bad rap. So shout out to them. But they made you miss the trade. It was Tesla volatility has been sick, and that 265 in Tesla, the last 2 days, either one of the last 2 days, that would have been, I think, where anybody would have been selling. And usually, sometimes it doesn't look good when you're selling personal account. I think it's a bit of a fluke because I was complaining about it yesterday, and today all of a sudden it looks like genius. But I think it is what it is when you sell at tops. Let's get into Intel. Is the second one. Okay.
Okay.
Wouldn't have been my first guess.
Those lines at the passport office during the pandemic, those were something to watch. But yeah, Intel down aggressively today, about 4.25, a little bit off the lows. Again, there's no specific catalyst for Intel, but the microchips as a group are all negative, as with the Mag 7. A lot of other positive names, though, but you see there Intel giving up some of the levels that it reclaimed over the past few days. Guys, Intel's been very strong the last week or so, giving it back a little bit today.
A little bit today. It's down 4%. Like, that's giving a lot back. So obviously, you stay true. What I was going to do, the lesson of the day was about like staying true to whatever your trading strategy is. If you like VWAP, trade VWAP. If you like trend trades, trade trend trades. If you like taking to specific levels, then take it to specific levels. But today on Intel, that ended up being the wrong thing. Like, Intel just continues to trend into the downside. I thought it might be able to catch a bid down at like 33.80 to 34. You can see it did like one little dip here at about 11 o'clock. Right when we were ending the show, that was your only chance to maybe catch a bit of a bid on Intel. And from there, it's just kind of working right back into the downside. This is not like that Tesla, for it to pull back into the trend bottom, it's close. Intel would still have to drop into like 32 or something before it finds some kind of obvious support level. So we could, like, maybe next week or so, there's a spot if it continues this trend for a dip buy, because it did the dirty off of $35 in here. So I think you're just going to have to sit this one out. Look for it to make some kind of a distinct bottom, unless it's 32 or 31 even. I'm sitting this sucker out. Long anyway.
Yeah, so I just want to say here, because that's twice today I made keystroke error. The first one was on Apple where we got out. This one, I just walked. I went to go get a coffee. We went to go phone the wife here just before we went on air. And I thought I had a stop here at the bottom of Amazon, and unfortunately did not. And so this was an easy way to get out of this, so you're not stuck in these trades. And again, you don't have to learn everything from every trade, but this one just goes to show again that, when you fight the trend and you don't have outs, it'll hurt. Like, we'll give some money back here. Obviously, you don't ever want to lose $1. But, that's what can happen. And you got to always make sure that you have stops, because all of a sudden, like, these trades here, I'm going long at 194 this time, right? My best out right there is 92. So that's only $1. And it's still a good trade, but most of them are scalped out here for 30, 40 cents, right? Like, now I'm stuck down here. I did buy the dips just because I'm thinking the market trying to go here. Let's see did we get some out there? No, we did not. Thought I was offering something around there. I'm in the teens here. Okay, so now that Amazon's coming back up, I'm honestly just going to take a little bit out. Feel pretty good about being able to buy some of those dips, but just letting you guys know that, hey, that's twice now today. I'm feeling pretty sharp. It has nothing to do with anything. It's just that's a mistake. Thought I had a stop order out. I only have about 180 trades today, so it's not like we're stumbling here. But at the same time, that's a mistake. So you can learn a lot, just from sitting here and hitting keys all day. And that was another one. Got to make sure that I have these stop orders locked and loaded so I don't make this mistake again. 55 cents in the money on Starbucks, and here I am drinking second cup.
SPY faring a lot better than the triple Qs today. You'll see the SPY down not even 1%, 0.94. Compare that to almost 2 2/3 at a point there on the triple Qs. Really, it's the tech stocks that are bringing down the NASDAQ a little bit lower than the ES, but you can see there small caps, REITs, and gold miners all doing a little bit better as rotation comes into this market, and that's helping buoy the ES a little bit harder than the ES than the NQ today, guys. Did you look at the SPY?
Only in the context of it not being as bad as the NASDAQ. But, let's be real. Like, we've seen the NASDAQ lead the way. So that works both. It works both ways. You lead up, you're going to lead down as well. I think for this afternoon, it's pretty obvious looking at a 15-minute chart of the SPY, like what are we going to be focused on? The current low, 556-ish. You've got yesterday's bottom, pre-market, like an overnight bottom, and then the previous close. So you've got Tuesday's close, you've got the Monday's high, and the current low of the day is basically all aligned here for the SPY. So if we don't have this level, we don't have anything. Well, that's not true. I mean, obviously, there's lots of, we got our health, we got all kinds of good stuff. We got the show, we got the aftermarket show today, we'll have Raider Trader today. But yeah, the line in the sand would be here, and it has been holding out pretty decent relative to the overmarket. You got to find those kernels of strength, I would think, if you're going to have some kind of a bounce in there. I would suspect, I'm looking at, like, Apple's down 2.5%. I'm not going to pretend that a stock that's down 2.5% is strong. But there was a hot moment when the market wasn't bouncing much and Apple was able to get to VWAP. And as we're at the lows, Apple's making a higher low. So I do like that, at least a little bit. And I guess we're not going to get a chance to talk about Alibaba. Baba off of VWAP again. I wasn't at my desk. I was talking to Brankles at the desk and kind of missed it off VWAP in there. But Alibaba off of VWAP one more time. They're having a good day. Chinese ADRs have sat out this drop for the most part. At least the ones I'm looking at. There's entirely possible Li Autos at the low of the day or something.
Yeah, there's so many different names to look at over there. I mean, especially.
How much you want to bet it?
Li Auto?
I got a dollar says Li Auto is. Dollar says Li Auto's under VWAP.
I remember those days when Li Auto was very good.
Yeah? Okay, so Sharif just said yes. I haven't looked. I owe you $1.
All right. What was the bet?
I just said it was under VWAP.
Yeah.
Why would I give... So Raymond's like, can I also get $1? I didn't bet you, Remain. I owe Sharif $1 because Li Auto's above VWAP. Good for them.
We got some Amazons out up there for a profit finally at 36s. So we just took a little bit out there, but we were getting more and more out on the upside. Okay, the SPY, well, guess what? We took a shot. here on the NASDAQ, and it was in the form of the TQs. So we'll just talk about the major indexes. You guys want spiders, but I did not look at that today. But here we go, man. I mean, we tried it down here, and it was actually a pretty good dip buy opportunity. At that time, I feel like, I don't know why. I have to, maybe, was it the 20 period? Hold on a second here. No, so it would have just been back into here, these levels at the 200 period at 81. So, you know, trying that little move there on the TQs back at $81 right here did not work. Dropped out and see you later back into 78.50. So again, if the NASDAQ's down 2.5%, it's going to be down 7.5%. So there it goes. It is the NASDAQ, the TQs. That's what I tried. We were talking about this earlier. Let's go look at this Starbucks trade, by the way. Jeez, what the? Okay. This isn't a patented Adara sit back right here because, wow, we were not, but this is a trade that we're in. Wow. Hello, Starbucks. You can see this. You can basically take a left-hand turn and go down the other street because we got hit right there, but then we bought it right back. We were a little bit playing off of that wick. We gave it a little bit, but then it basically stopped again and then straight up to the upside. There goes SBUX, a 75-cent winner, making this Amazon kerfuffle a little bit better. But look, I like the indexes. Tomorrow you're going to get JP Morgan. ES is only down 1%. That's kind of like a drop in the puddle, right? So in the puddle bucket, yeah, I mean, hopefully it doesn't get as big as a bucket here, but for right now, pretty satisfied. I'm more worried about the NASDAQ. Buckets. A lot of these names getting clocked.
Buy a bucket of coffee with the Starbucks win.
Oh,
how much coffee? No one can drink a bucket of coffee.
Depends what the size of the bucket, of course.
Well, there's no real small buckets, right?
Some small buckets. You know, when you go to like the driving range, you get a large bucket, a small bucket, different size.
That's fair.
Buckets
okay.
there.
I'm thinking like, yeah. Let's go back.
Ooh, Palantir.
There we go.
Bucket list.
Yeah, this one's going to get them excited. All right, Palantir down 3.8% today, but you can see that there. In 52 weeks, it's up 75%, and year to date, it's up 65%, really making 52-week highs yesterday after giving back a little bit today, likely because of that Oracle headline as well as other AI catalysts that have acted as a tailwind for this name. A bit of a pullback today. Is this a buying opportunity, guys?
Let it settle down a little bit. It had a nice bounce.
Always a buying opportunity. We're talking about Palantir over here. You know?
Well, okay. Well, I always assume when we ask these questions, it's mostly the short term. But yeah, like in the long term, I mean, what are we pulling back into?
Like playing around.
No, but it literally is pulling back and dipping the last dip was right to bounce off 27, and that was a previous high on the daily. So in theory, yeah, it kind of pulled into the spot where if I was looking closer, maybe you should have bought a 27. I was going long early off the 28 area. So first dip, get a good scalp trade. Then we tried off 28, that loses. Go right back to the 28.20. It gets to VWAP at 28.40, and then right, like it just starts going southbound. So we end up getting out of it. Probably should have reversed short. If we don't, again, I go 2 for 4 on it. I'm flat on the stock, but I got to slap a fail on it because if you like a level for a long, always check back in and see what happens. It breaks the first time, you don't have to have it. When it breaks a second time, what does it look like on the other end? It breaks a second time and then can't get back to the 28 level, and you could have had like 27.80 or something. So to the downside goes Palantir, but this afternoon, making some higher lows while the market's continuing to make lows. There might be a bit of a bid here. Higher low, triple bottom at 27.20. You know what 27.20 is? I'm reminded, 27.20 is the low from Tuesday and Monday. So double bottom, 27, triple bottom, 27.20. There might be a scalp trade here, 27.20. If the market's making lows and something's making higher lows, it's kind of worth a shot in the afternoon.
I do not disagree, my friend. I lost on Palantir. I am glad to have been watching this Amazon start to go back up to the upside. So it's a 50-cent winner since we've been back on air. Of course, now we have the right price. We had to take the L, unfortunately, on all of these. We were very irresponsible by leaving our desk without a stop order. So that was obviously something that, you know, I'm not proud of doing that, but we did it. All right, so Palantir again today. Look, I mean, I always look for levels to hold. And I mean, we did not trade Palantir early. Thought that was a decent bottom, right? Came back in, boom, bottomed out again. And then I was like, let's go long off a break of basically 27.90. So we did that, and it was a monster, right? I mean, that's 27.90. You guys, I took this live on the show with everybody. We just punched straight in, right on the show. You guys can go back, look at it at 10:30, 10:24 this morning. Nice move all the way up. We got out of 75 or 80% of it, all the way up here to 30. So that was a 40-cent winner. But then what happened? We tried it again off of what bottom? This bottom. Well, unfortunately, it came back in and broke it. And that's where we got out, slapping a big fail on the end of that trade for Palantir. But again, you know, I ain't crying over this spilt milk because it's a good thing we got out. As you can see where we wound up going. Volume pretty dead on this. My job is to look for names. Not my job, but what I like to do is to look for names that will give me relative volume here in the afternoon. It doesn't look like that's going to be the case for Palantir. So again, you want to see me trade this, probably going to have to check me tomorrow. But we'll still watch Palantir. I'd rather fade it if it can get back to VWAP. So that's what we're going to look for. And you have Danielle on this afternoon, do you?
Danielle is going to be on. She's confirmed. It's a perfect day to talk a little options with Danielle, especially after what happened with Tesla. Let's be real for a second. It's like we knew, or maybe it waited for Thursday for that move. And then, of course, we'll also talk about AVGO, Broadcom. AVGO. We'll talk about Broadcom split as well. So lots of things to mention here.
Amazon.
As we'll have one more in the bucket on the list here. And I have buckets on the mind now all of a sudden. But Longeveron, Sharif. What's the look?
Hi, Sharif.
All right, guys, just heads up, the CEO of QuantumScape on CNBC interviewing right now, so just keep an eye on that one. It could start moving if any relevant statements are made. Longeveron, what a move it was yesterday. Very much an inside day for it today. About flat right now, a little bit above, a little bit below, but this was the headline coming in from yesterday, getting the nod from the FDA for the regenerative medicine advanced therapy designation to Lomil B, which is for the treatment of mild Alzheimer's disease. You always want to champion or, basically like a headline like that. Anyway, guys, what's the look on Longeveron?
So yesterday was a wild day for Longeveron.
Yeah, a fantastic day for Longeveron, yeah.
Here's what today is more of it's good because you're getting some consolidation. How about that? On the higher time, if you look at the daily chart, you have these two wicks in here to like 425, let's just call it. So the fact that you're getting a hold this afternoon above the 425, so that 425 in the daily, resistance, 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 support, that's a good sign. But it's not really doing any volume this afternoon, but that would be key. So 425 on the higher time frame looks like the spot, so maybe you like a VWAP dip buy. But I just pulled this up. I pulled this up like a minute or two ago, and I still have yet to see an actual print on the tape that isn't like a little program midpoint deep print. Still hasn't been one. Like no ARCA, no NASDAQ, nothing. And I've been watching it for like the tape's been up for at least a minute or two. So I don't know what's going to cause this to pick up steam again, but at this point, there's a nothing burger. VWAP just came in on Alibaba. We picked it up. We'll play to the high of the day again, as the Chinese ADRs have been ridiculously strong, including Li Auto, apparently. I was surprised by that. And the reason I was kind of like, oh, Li Auto's probably down while the rest are up, I just sort of figured, well, I mean, like Tesla gave it up a little bit, and the market was down, so maybe the EVs in sympathy would be bad, but looks like everything in China, well, I shouldn't say that. All of the Chinese ADRs are looking strong to the upside. Just double checking to see. Oh, really? NIO's at the low? Yeah, why is Li Auto strong? See, NIO actually is doing what I would have expected. I would have expected the Chinese ADRs to give it back, but it looks like NIO's at the bottom. Good for you, Li Auto. But Alibaba gets to the high of the day. We're jumping out of it again. And now that we're done, I feel like usually people are interested in what's going on with NVIDIA. Down 5%, trying to catch a bid here on NVDA. So if you look at what's going on, everything is to the downside. I think the trend is your friend to the end when sometimes it bends. If this gets back into like a 129 area, that could be a good look. And then AMD, also not on the list for the first time in a while. AMD 180 has been a level, still on the offer there. Maybe we don't need to be sitting there. 180 has been a pretty good level a couple of times, had it the second time through. I think it's headed right back into it, but higher lows off this 178. AMD might be catching a bid. I wasn't willing to go long off 178 the last time because I was still figuring it was a short. This is looking good. The way that it's wicked this bottom a couple of times here on AMD, I feel like it should be worth a shot if it tries to bounce off 178 again. That's what I'm looking for. If we can get it, no promises that AMD even gets to that level. That's just how it is.
We'll do $1 from the bottom here for Amazon. I mean, we just bought Amazon 193s, and it's at 194, so we'll take another piece out. We were getting it out. Most of our outs are right here at the 50 period, so that kind of sucks, to be honest with you, that, you know, we got so much out here in the 70, 75 area, but we'll take it out here at 94 and just be really happy, obviously, with the way that has worked out for us. And then Starbucks right there. Because it says LGVN on here, let's do that. Yesterday we traded it. Neil wasn't here. But yeah, it was not great. We wound up getting hit. So remember we got this long back in, we were long around here, 580 or so, I think. Where is that? No, that's 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. No, it must have been 5. Yeah, so it came back in. We started to buy it. Our out was going to be 450, and it was, and we got stopped out there. So I feel like our average was around 530. So I think we took some there. Remember, we got out early, then we took some, then it dropped, then we averaged it and got some out here, 530, 540, but still wasn't a great trade. And then all afternoon, nothing. And then all today, again, gets right back to that $5 level and fades out again. So for me, I think you just keep shorting it. Obviously, we'd like to have good stories when it comes to technology and you know, whatever it is really as far as healthcare is concerned. But yeah, Longeveron today down about 1%. Not on my radar, but you know, a good little name there. And I hope that a lot of you have made some money and especially caught cash out of that yesterday. And if not, I mean, it was $1. So you still got a lot going on right now. Well, are we ready right now? Okay, let's go. We got a guest. Who is it?
Who might it be?
Who is it? Who might it be?
Who is it? Who is it, guys? I wonder who it is.
It's the Raider Trader. How are you going? We said, Ramin in our ear said, Raider Trader, we have a good transition to bring on Raider Trader. So I thought we were doing something all fancy like right now. Hey, where are you? In a school hallway there or something like that? Looks like
I'm currently back at my parents' because I just got back from July 4th with them. We had like a beach vacation with the family.
Nice.
So I'm about to go back to my apartment. But yeah.
Nice, man. Nice, man. It looks like you're outside there. Are you enjoying that weather or what?
I mean, yeah, I've been, you know, I get pretty pasty during the winter, I got to say, but because, you know, traders, they don't leave to go outside. You know, sometimes I forget what grass feels like, but I think this summer I've touched quite a bit of grass. So we're starting to get there.
Good.
Which is important to do, right? You know, it's of course you did.
Yeah.
I know that problem. Sometimes you get a little pasty, you don't get enough sun out there. I know I can definitely
I was only saying that because it looks like he's
bit.
outside. Like it looks like he's on a patio is what I was saying.
Well, to be fair, if I move the camera, there is a ginormous 12-foot tall door right there with all.
There you go.
So I don't know if you can see it, but there you go.
Great natural light.
Which is important.
Yep.
Did you see that move? You've been trading a little bit today because that move in Tesla, pretty big downside, right? I mean, up over 40% over the last month, finally giving some back today. You buying any of these dips in TSLA?
So we'll talk about this in a second, but as far as like names like Tesla and especially Solars, which are now getting a run up at least, a lot of these names are actually being front run for the rate cut. So the markets are expecting, especially Tesla's price action is almost a confirmation with that big run up that there will be a rate cut very, very soon. Whether that's September, I think most people are betting on that. But as far as like Solars, I think those are the next to get somewhat of a bid. So I'll be watching those. But Tesla, I traded that early on in the move, but I didn't feel like chasing it. Again, the options were just pretty crazy. The IV got juiced, but yeah.
That must happen so quickly when the news comes out. It's just like it's a right-hand turn. But if we can come back to the solar name just for a quick second there, because the last couple of weeks there's been a lot of these like channel trades where you have a stock which is not doing a heck of a lot in a distinct channel. And I would argue that First Solar, if you want to like dirty here like that, like it's been in this very, very slight upward channel that it's attempting to break out. So you mentioned we're getting rate cuts potentially, a couple being priced in for the rest of the year. This has been one of the better ones. You got the 50 period, you have it trending back into the upside. What's your look? Because I stare at this, I'm like, okay, so if it breaks out the top of that channel, just swing long, give it to the bottom end of the channel, because I'm very simplistic like that. But what would be the take? And is First Solar the name that you would even buy?
Personally, I'm going with ENPH. I think that one has a little bit more juice to run. FSLR obviously got the biggest initial run up, but ENPH, I'm looking for a trade in. These solars are really tricky to trade. They like to do a lot of random stuff at random times. But I think with this contraction, like you said, typically you wait towards the news or you front run it into the CPI, of course, this week and into next week. But that's how I'm kind of playing those. Now, I did want to talk about one thing with you guys today because, the trust me, bro moments, they come out once in a while. I was unfortunately not able to miss, or I was unfortunate to not come here on the last one because I was traveling again for that July 4th. I was traveling the week before. But last week, there was a pretty big sign that the markets were going to drop today. And I guess this is a good learning point. If you want to share my screen here, sure. I'll just kind of show this for you viewers at home. But one of the biggest things I look for is what you call a defensive and value rotation. So this concept of relative strength, so let's say Neil is just relatively stronger than I am, okay? If you put him on the bench press, he is going to bench more than I am. So which one are you going to put your money on? The guy who can bench more or the guy who might bench more but probably not? Definitely put your money on Neil. But as far as that goes, the same concept applies with stocks here. When you have, before a market drops, there's certain stocks that perform better and worse than others. And when you see money flowing into value and defensive stocks, like over here, you have healthcare, you have energy, you have materials, all these names, staples, industrials. And then over here, you have all the technology names getting rotated out of. They're selling these off. That's an early sign of a market top or a drop coming soon. So I just want to say that was the kind of point I wanted to make today. So there you go. Trust me, bro. That's all you got to say.
No, you had me at the compliment for the dad strength over here. I'll take it.
Yep.
I haven't seen I work at home, and I haven't even attempted a bench press in a long time, but I appreciate the sentiment there. No, but you are right about that. Like, you got to look for sometimes the overall sentiment. We get caught up as day traders, Qs, big cap tech, and that's where the focus is going to be, because in an individual day, like what's moving in that day. But when you're swinging, when you're looking for the overall pullbacks, I think you got that one dead on. I know we're going to get this question from the chat, so I want to lead out just and get out of the way. Where are you obtaining that information from, like that graphic? Is that something you can share that source with us?
Yeah.
Where you're getting it?
As far as relative performance goes, it's very basic. You just compare performance to a benchmark. So that one I'm using specifically, that's stockcharts.com. Again, I'm not sponsored by these guys. If you have Bloomberg Terminal as well, they are partnered with them, so you can have it on there. And then also, it's actually pretty easy to make an indicator script on TradingView, although not as good. But it's just comparing relative strength to a benchmark. So it's pretty simple calculation. But that one is specifically, I think you can find on Stock Charts, Bloomberg, one of those two.
Good look there, and definitely appreciate that. And again, just I know a lot of people like, hey, that was pretty interesting. I want to make sure you can always hit the rewind as well, but check out that resource if you can. So obviously, we're getting right back into earnings season as well. The banks are going to be starting out here today, so you have that event. I think we've been talking the last cycle. It's been more about the earnings and less about what's going on with inflation. With today, and possibly with the last couple of readings and with where the Fed funds are going, what's your outlook on the earnings season? Are we going to be focused on the goods, or are we going to be focused on what USD, what treasuries are doing, and we're back into that phase where we care a heck of a lot more about the overall data? I feel like a shift might be coming.
I think you're right, because a lot of the focus is actually away from, as much as people want to hype up the CPI and everything like that, I think actually a lot of the focus is away from inflation. I think more of it is more so on the impact of specifically the companies and how they're going to perform in the outlook of this. Now, specifically with sectors that I'm looking at, definitely the banks. I've been bullish on the banks, but also the healthcare. I'm really looking at a lot of these healthcare names. They're really beaten down. Industrial too. I think these names are going to be the favorites over time as people start to sell off the mega caps, sell off the lag 7, as I called them a few times ago. But these names that are starting to sell off, they're going to put that money somewhere else. So, a lot of people forget that firms don't just take profit, they reallocate because it's client money. So they're not going to take profit necessarily, unless if grandpa's close to the grave, but that's, you're most likely going to reallocate. And so that reallocation is what a lot of traders capitalize off of. But specifically with earnings, I have a pretty streamlined strategy. Whenever you see earnings come out, try to pick a strategy. So whenever you see earnings, and the trend is typically that the hyped up names get a continuation, or that they fake out, they go down to the downside and pump back up. That trend honestly does continue throughout the most of earnings seasons. You can see it across multiple ones. Last earnings season, it was a lot of gap up and go, trade it open, and go long. So that was kind of that. But yeah, just watch the trend. See if you notice that, hey, it keeps gapping down and they keep getting bought up. Play that theme on the most hyped names as well.
All right, Andrew, time to talk stock here. You ready?
Okay, Sean, what is that hat? That's a cool hat. Where'd you get that?
Appreciate that. It's from a shroom company that we had on the show.
Okay.
You can send them one.
So there we go. I noticed you were talking a little bit about grass there. I was just wondering what was going on. But no, okay. So tomorrow we start bank season. You and I have talked banks on here a couple times before. You mentioned some regionals the last couple times you've been on, looking for that. I always kind of go back to the bigger guys, as we mentioned, and JP Morgan. But tomorrow, if you see my screen here, I'll sort of tell you what's coming through. If you're not aware, I'm just going to read the banks for the first time myself here. We have right here Wells Fargo, Citigroup, JP Morgan, all coming out tomorrow. You could see expected move 3%, 4%, 3%, right? Previous move for JP Morgan was down almost 7%. So let's have a quick look at this chart. I never like to buy stock that's up like this heading into earnings. I feel like, we've just come down, we've come up from 197 up $10 here. Chart looking good. Obviously, it's at highs, at all-time highs, and looking to break out. I don't know. For me, and I think you might have answered this on your question with Neil, I'm going to sit out and not take a position before this earnings play comes through here on the major banks. What is your opinion in that sector right now with XLF or any individual names as we look for the first sort of sector to report here coming tomorrow with banks?
Yeah, so specifically how to play those. From a derivative perspective, I trade options. So how I would approach that is, well, if there's not really going to be a huge move, or I don't think it can beat expectations, there's no point in trading it. But especially if you're an equity trader, you have to ask yourself, when was the time to buy banks? Was it now, before earnings, or was it back in November or October when the markets were expected to bottom regardless? So you probably missed your opportunity, at least for a long-term position if you're just opening it. But as far as an equity trader that goes, well, I want to just capture 3, 6, 7% on this, it's probably not the right time to do it. Yes, earnings goes, but we know how NVIDIA earnings went, right? Everyone piled into the first earnings, second earnings comes around, it barely moves, and even if you bought at the money calls, you're losing money basically. So it's very tough to justify why, hey, should we get into, this is going to be my first banks trade of the quarter or something. It's going to be on earnings. Right. That's kind of a foolish statement in my opinion, but I think you're absolutely right in sitting out and maybe even just taking the first few earnings saying, hey, look, let's see what the banks do. If the banks, crap the bed, then that's probably a bad sign that, these other stocks which could move more, and probably a better opportunity would be a better short into earnings. So it's all information gathering. You don't want to sit out too much, obviously, but I think banks are fair to sit out on and see what the general census is. And then if we can short other stocks, that will likely be parallel with that, if that makes sense.
That makes sense. And we should have maybe stated that, yeah, you're more of a derivatives kind of guy, and I think that that's exactly right. You're going to look for names that potentially have volatility, and right now the banks. That's why I was saying, like, where they are right now, it's kind of just back and forth. And with a 3% expected move, not much. All right, the Fed Watch tool. Today we get finally the first negative CPI print since May of 2020. And we're getting a little bit of a move up here, although I think we expected, right, for July that we would get a cut. So it looks like we're going to most likely be thinking about right now 91% for July. As we move out to September, though, is when we start to really get interested, as 84% for the cut in July. And then all the way out to December, it's looking more and more like we could get those 3 rate cuts. Any opinions on that? Because now it's 43% that we could be between 450 and 475 on the overnight, which signifies 3 cuts. So opinions on that side of things? Are you seeing anything in the derivatives market that may, give us an indication here?
Yeah, so especially with what I was just talking about with like Tesla and solars, oftentimes, again, Tesla's price action ran up into the belief that this CPI would trigger the rate cuts for the future. That's the markets are pricing that in ahead of time. So now my trade, especially on IWM and things like that, you need to continue to play the run up in these small caps ahead of these rate cuts, because this is what these stocks are what benefit most from the relieved pressure on the financial side. However, one thing I'm also looking at is those higher dividend names, the industrials, things like that. Typically how I approach these changing market conditions, and a lot of people need to understand that this is a change in market condition. This is the first, we are coming towards the end of a Fed cycle, and that's very important in that you will see a change in market dynamic. So you need to be self-aware that, well, if the markets are changing, I need to be ultra observant, even if my participation isn't as heavy, to see what is the general dynamics of the market. Is it, small caps that start to do well? Is it, obviously it's not going to be semiconductors or technology, because those are crapping the bed right now. But what is going to start doing well? And you're going to have to narrow down on that. And that's going to be where the opportunity is, because with trading, there's 2 things you can waste: money and time. And I don't know about you, but I think time is a lot more important. So don't waste your time going around to stocks that aren't going to move. Try to find the ones that are going to be the big winners throughout this cycle.
Speaking about time, enjoy your youth. Yes, because I would agree with that one. I mean, many of us would change and exchange that for sure.
You can say that again.
Yeah, you could definitely say that again. Talking about two of us over here. Oh, you still got the red glasses on, eh?
So, no, I have a headache, so these actually help with the lights and all that. Usually I just wear it in the middle of the day when we're not on the show. You'll understand at some point, Andrew, what it's all about when you get on. As a young man, you got all the time in the world, but you said it dead on. You do not want to waste it. Time is money. It's an old saying, but it's probably the most valuable one out there. And if you spend your time looking at a bunch of crap that's not going to, it's fine. I like looking at charts too. I like looking at interesting things, but it's so easy to waste an hour looking at a bunch of stuff that you're never going to take a trade in, or you're never going to make any money off of. So it is what it is. And speaking of sentiment, before, some people in the chat were asking about KOSS, which is moving. It's up 10%. I see no reason for it being up. So anyone that's looking, I did scan. There is no volume going on in this name. But it does bring me to something else, because, Andrew, I feel like there's been some kind of an old school squeeze name that's rearing its head the last couple of weeks. And I don't wonder, did you ever look at that for any kind of an indicator? I know sometimes we'll see when they start to go, maybe a signaling of an end. You just had Carvana make a recent high. We've had GameStop, Chewy, Cost, all these things going back and forth. Do they matter to you? Do you ever see any opportunities there? I know for options, sometimes it can be tricky. Again, they're all going to end up being pretty expensive, and it moves pretty fast. But do you care? Do you sit it out? Is it maybe something that you just every once in a while have a chuckle at, or do you care about the trade?
Oh, no, absolutely. I mean, I've taken trades in Carvana before, back in even June of, 23. I was taking positions on Carvana, some swing trades. So I do actively trade a lot of these squeeze names. And of course, Carvana has been just one of those squeeze names, the classic ones. As we've said since, last year, it's just been up, 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 up. It seems every dip needs to be bought. But that's absolutely something I do look for. A lot of people need to consider which squeeze names do they want to participate in. The ones with zero liquidity that they're going to get halted in, they're going to get trapped in over and over and over again. Personally, I like the names like Carvana, which, they typically don't halt and they typically do have decent liquidity. And you just got to develop that style. So names like PLTR and Carvana, even GameStop, I've traded within the last few weeks. Although a lot of them, you could say, that's pretty, degenerate behavior in trading with the short squeeze, but there is opportunity there. Put the ego aside. It's time to see where the opportunity is. I'm willing to do that. So GameStop, especially, I've taken stabs at even just 2 weeks ago and things like that. Whether they worked out, I don't put any serious positions on them, but it's zero or hero with those ones.
So I want to ask you quickly, and before we let you go, and I want to thank you again for coming through, man. The chat really appreciates this, and a lot of love.
Wait, Sean. Sorry to interrupt, but this is amazing. Neil has red glasses on, and Sean has yellow glasses on. This is like, I need to get blue or something. We need to make this is crazy.
Next time you come on, get yourself a pair, man.
Andrew, we're leveling up. We're leveling up. These let me see the market more clearly. You know, you made a little better trades. Trying to focus up on that. You know what's all about. Any advantage we can get around here.
Okay, see, there we go. Look, now I need this hat.
You can tell I've never put this on.
This is what I'm trying to say. I mean, look, this is free advertising. And anyone want, marketing space here? If anyone wants that, we show it to the world. Let's be more serious quickly here. Apple, okay? Look, Apple's up huge here. What do you think about this AI boon? I mean, there's been so much talk with all of these names, man. Microsoft, Meta. I mean, let's just talk about them all besides NVIDIA, because NVIDIA is like the picks and shovels, right? We haven't seen anybody make any money off of this yet besides Microsoft, right? So, I mean, is Meta a stock that's just way too high? Is Apple, are they ever going to be able to ever make enough money to justify a $1 trillion bump here since April? I mean, where are you with the trade as far as AI is concerned? You think we're a little overextended in some of these names?
So as far as the AI trade, a lot of different things that I've been, I do have discussions with my mentor and some of the guys that I've been trained by, especially with long-term stuff. And one of the orders they said to look for was AI, and then the next wave is going to be in robotics and biosecurity. Now, there's not a lot of robotic stocks and there's not a lot of biosecurity stocks, but there are some. And as these hit the market, these are likely going to be the next winners because, well, logically, I mean, we've kind of talked about this before, but with AI, you need enhanced security. We have people copying voices now. We have people copying, important credentials. Even the irises of your eye can start to be copied and things like that. So biosecurity and especially robotics to make manufacturing way more efficient, et cetera. So those are, I think, going to be the next winners. As far as AI in the near term, I think you're right. A lot of these mega caps, they're just unjustified as far as their pump, especially Meta, Netflix, these guys. But I've always said that Apple is just the darling in the market. You get into this club, and a lot of people are bearish Apple, but you forget that once you get so big, it's almost hard to fall. And I know that's like the bears are going to be crucifying me when I say that, but it's true. Once you get so big, it is almost hard to fall because now you have ETFs supporting you. Now you have all these different funds that are supporting you. And this is when you get to the too big club. Apple, as it said, they make, $100 billion a quarter or something like that crazy. They're an exceptional business, and there's a reason why people like Warren Buffett have stayed with them so long. It's too big to short. And that's not for the near term, but you can't sit on a long position on Apple and short it effectively. That's what I'm trying to say. But, yeah.
Okay, yeah, no, good little look there. Before we let you go now, is there a trade that for the next time in 2 weeks, I'm going to write it down, something that you're looking for right now? It doesn't have to be a monster one, just something you're looking at. Like, I'll tell you mine. I like this Starbucks bottom here in and around $72. I like what they're doing. Sorry, I'm on Palantir now as I'm short it. But Starbucks for the long term, I'll give you this for the next 2 weeks. If you give me one, I like it coming off the bottom here. I'm noticing, especially around our area, Starbucks getting a little more busy. They're doing it with some promotions. I think that will help them. I like what's coming through. I'm going to investigate when the report is, but I like Starbucks. Let's see what Andrew Rader likes today.
So, Sean, writing this down here, okay? Energy. Go look at energy. Late July. Late July, I believe there will be a big opportunity in energy. Specifically, you'll have to dig around APA, SLB, these kind of names. Not materials as well, along with the energy trade. But I believe energy, Oxy, XLE, this is the ETF, very balanced as far as exposure to it. I believe energy will get a nice bid. 4-6% days once in a while. I think that's going to be a very, very healthy number. But as also healthcare, I'm looking at a lot of healthcare names. Tricky to trade, but I'm telling you guys, these are where a lot of opportunities lie. So XLE, that's going to be my ticker to watch over these next few weeks.
XLE.
I like it. I like
That's
XLE.
the energy name that I own, XLE.
I like Oxy as well. I got out of Oxy and was looking for a place to get back. I never got back into that one. You said you don't really like banks. I actually like TD. You can hardly tell, but that's just because it's a technical bottom that it's making on TD Bank there. But thank you, Andrew Rader. Always a fantastic guest. Look, I think you started with something that I think it makes sense to end with. Glad you got to spend some time with your family. 4th of July, that's what it's all about. Nothing better than that. You know someone's solid when they spend time with the family because they know they got the priorities in the right space. I think you're doing well. You can always find him. Tell everybody where they can find you first, Andrew. We forgot to do that.
So, Neil, last time we were talking about the leaked mixtapes. I'm not going to go into all that this time. But as far as, I don't know if anyone in chat knows, but you are an undercover rapper. I mean, you've been in the underground performing in the sewers of Toronto for a while now.
Sewers is right.
We'll move past that. You guys can find me. I'm based in Ohio right now. Wait a minute. I'm not doxing myself. Yeah, man, socials. So as far as social media goes, you guys can find me on Twitter, Instagram, chat with us there. Or, hey, every other Thursday, I'll be on here on Trader TV. So just come there and you'll see these two other very handsome men with their multicolored sunglasses. I mean, that's a different level of social class when you guys have different colored glasses. I mean, that's, if you thought clear glasses was enough, wait till you meet the elites of society with different colored glasses. But, yep, there you go.
You can't be walking around here slumming in normal
my
glasses.
guy. That is absolutely fantastic. It's Andrew Rader. It's
Yes,
Raider
sir.
Trader.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Chow. See you around, my guy
ya.
right there. He liked energy. I like energy.
He gone.
We all like energy. He gone.
He gone.
Right now. He fall down there. Is that Joe Biden over there? Who is that guy? There he goes. He fall down.
He wouldn't be
Go
waving from the ground
right
like
now.
that because that's a sense of awareness.
Tripped on himself over there.
Oh.
All right. Yeah. Good episode. Thanks, Andrew, for joining us. And yeah, I mean, it's fun. That's why I asked about AI, because, you got to get some different perspectives here. You and I have one, and others have other opinions. So good job there. Thank you, Andrew, for that. We'll watch out for some energy. I don't know. I like it. We thought go upside today. I don't actually.
No, specifically,
what is USO? It was up today, right? I mean, it's up 1.5%.
I was going to show Oxy.
Where is it? Basically flat here, USO today. I mean, nice move up to $80, $81. We'll see if we can break through this 84 coming out at some point. So there it is. Yeah. So good move. We'll see if it can hold this bottom. XLE is interesting because we looked at this the other day on the recap, and I was really surprised. Not really surprised, but it's underperforming. So this is a name here that you've seen against what oil's been doing. Oil, we just showed you where USO is almost near the top. XLE, little underperformance, but bouncing off of the 200 period. This is my energy play as well. So, but right now, hey, while he was there, guess what? Young people, old people, all kind of people like to shop at Amazon. And right now, we are $1.12 in the money off that most recent buy. Funny that we were so mad that we left our order in, and all we had to do was just go for a little bit of a longer walk. And when we came back, we would now be in the money and up a heck of a lot. But we're happy where we are right now on Amazon. Nice move back up to the upside, made a little bit there just by getting in at 93s. And if we zoom this back out, we didn't really do this work for you live on the show because we came back while we were trading it. But right there, we were using these bottoms. And good fall in. This just goes back to the beginning of the month. So, good month for Amazon. We do know that there's that sell pressure behind it, as to be expected. And then Starbucks, what a good trade this was off that bottom. But again, messed up with it a little bit here. We broke, and then we bought it back. Now up to the upside, another long. I like this name. I am going to find out when they do report because, I don't want Andrew to come back on the day that they report. And then, then it's going to be like an unfair.
End of the month.
Oh, is it? Okay, that's like a little bit of a volatility there, bump coming for them. Where did you say it was? Oh, the 30th. Perfect.
Yeah.
That's perfect. So it'll be right before earnings.
Because he's on 2 weeks. He'll come up 5 days before.
Exactly. We'll see what happens with Starbucks. So I kind of like that. We'll see what that is. What's up, Scratch Life? Get those scratch tickets.
I have not played a scratch and win ticket since I was
same.
a teenager, I don't think.
Oh, no. You know what? We get them in our Christmas. We'll get them, or Santa will bring them. I can't remember who does it.
That's cool.
I don't think Santa has access to
Maybe he'll do that.
government lotteries, but he'll put lottery tickets in.
Santa can do whatever that.
Yeah, Santa can do Santa can do a lot of stuff. But anyways, we do them at Christmas.
You know what? I should tell my daughter that Santa doesn't like cookies anymore and really would like an apple fritter this year. Yeah. Although we're kind of getting past that point, so I don't think she'll fall for it. What? It just is what it is.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Why not? Why?
Santa puts out whatever cookies is.
That's what I'm saying.
We got to put them out for Santa, though.
Of course. You got to make sure Santa gets a variety.
Go buy the apple fritter, get a high quality one. Yeah.
He's so giving to everybody.
Of course, man.
He's got an appetite. Santa can eat.
He's got a hell of an appetite.
A couple things. The market's starting to roll back over a little bit here. I want to get to two things. One, the QuantumScape's moving again. 2, we got out of, while Raider was talking, we got out of BABA because look at what happens at 78.5. I like VWAP in here again. We're getting close to power hour. We'll take a shot if we get back into it. Uber back at the high of the day, and QS is trying to go. And I just said in the chat, QuantumScape needs to get over this level. $7.40, not $7.50, $7.40. That was the high right at the pre-market. It held there for an hour in the pre-market and could not break. It's starting to crest off that level, already pulling back in there. Just it gets into the 25-30 range and then nothing. So if we can make a higher low and break it out, I'll like this QuantumScape breakout trade. So that's what we want to see here. With just over an hour to go, we still have a bunch of time for the market to sort itself out here. Just checking out NVIDIA, which is not at 130. It's still trying to get up into VWAP. There, Intel, low of the day. Wow, there's no bottom on this stock today. There's no bid on Intel at all. Like NVIDIA is bouncing. Micron, we already talked about. Tesla, what is Tesla doing here? Still at the low of the day. No bounce or pep in the step of TSLA. Just trying to find something strong here. Like what's going? The market bounced off these lows. Like the ES said, hey, we're not going any lower. The NASDAQ's bouncing. Maybe Apple. Yeah, Apple looks kind of strong. This could be one. Apple looking a little bit of relative strength here. Like to see it break out. Look at this 228 level. Somebody's selling 228. If they can break this dude out, get past the quarters, Apple could be a join.
I'm just really, really nervous about it. There he is. He's Raider Trader. He's in the chat right now. Hey, what's up, Raider Trader? He wants Neil to drop the album. I mean, look, we used to do, I like that for sure. Let's give a, I mean, you and him have a little bromance here. I really like this. Let's go smiley face on that one for Raider Trader. So there it is right now. Thank you so much for that deposit there, Mr. Raider Trader. And again, go find Andrew Raider. Google him, search him up, find him every second Thursday live on the show. Thank you so much, Raider Trader. But for right now, let's go over to the desk with Adara.
Yeah, thank you to our sponsors at Benzinga. If you feel lost in the noise of the market, then you need Benzinga Pro. Benzinga Pro cuts through the clutter and gives you the insights you need to make smarter, faster trades. From real-time news to unusual options activity, we'll show you exactly what's moving the market and why. Don't miss out on your chance to trade like a pro. Visit benzinga.com/pro to start your free trial today.
All right, good job there. Yeah, we have the Benzinga Pro in our ear. Great little platform coming through there with Benzinga. So we're really excited. And again, thank you, Andrew Raider. We're getting a lot of love for that super chat there in the chat. So appreciate you as well. We're still short Palantir. I mean, it's right at these levels. I don't know if we love this Palantir short or not, but it's down 3%. It's coming underneath VWAP. I like the trade. However, there is support here, man. Like I'm going to try to get most of this out in the 30s if we're able to do that, even earlier than that if I can. So let's see if there is going to be a trade there or not. But for me, for now, I think we like Palantir short until we break sort of this top. My stop on this is 60s. So if we get break above that, it's not too far away from here. So I think there is an opportunity there, nevertheless, on that one. The other name, so my whole thing is here right now is I'm not sure what we think about this market. It could be a little bit, I mean, maybe we bottomed. That's what I'm getting at here. Where's the ES? Okay, ES only down 0.8. ES holding above. The reason why I look at the ES when I'm looking at a stock like Disney is I'm looking at this and thinking, hey, we're getting pretty close to this 97. VWAP's at 96.90. It's almost worth taking a short rate now against VWAP and this past top. But the thing is, this is outperforming the market today. So what we generally like to do around here is take something that is either as weak as the market, or if not weaker, or at least in the, like I was saying, in the pocket. We had bucket in my mind, and then it's the pocket is the right saying there. Something that's in the pocket of a down 2%, 1.5%, something like that. So let's have a look at Disney after to see if that's right or not.
I like where it is in the daily.
Yeah. Okay, and it's just, before we go over there with Mr. Faluna from Benzinga, we'll get him in a couple seconds. It's the same reason why we went long on Starbucks here. It's up today against obviously a pretty red market. So we thought that there was a level here, and it looks like it was right. So we did go long on Starbucks down here, now in the money over 66 cents All right, it's Trader Talk this time with Mr. Ryan Faluna. How are you doing, my friend?
Doing well. How are you?
Oh, he's doing pretty good. Let me see that T-shirt you got on there. What does that say over there? Oh, there it is.
Go.
It's Benzinga Detroit.
This is our super sharp black Benzinga Detroit, super soft as well.
You have any ones that say Benzinga Toronto on it?
We don't yet, but you know what? I'll go ahead and put that request in for you. No problem.
I mean, you know, it's free, like we were saying, it's advertising, man. I'll just wear it on there.
I'll wear it right now.
Absolutely no problem.
Some of our team lives in Toronto. I think I can get that done for you.
Boom, ready to go. I'm a small, Neil's an extra large, so just in case you're wondering about that one. Right there, as we go.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
No.
So, okay, quickly, what about, did you see Tesla today? Anything exciting from you on maybe a Benzinga front where you guys had that story? We got a little drop off there with the robo-taxi news coming in and around. It looks like around 11:30 here. Nice move to the downside. Any thoughts about Tesla on a move like this to the downside?
Yeah, so we definitely had that news. Of course, you can check out Benzinga Pro to get that news in real time all the time. For me, Tesla, this whole robo-taxi thing, I am not a fan. I'm someone that likes to drive the car. So all of these headlines to me, not great. Tesla here, this is a stock that our community watches all of the time. Real great short there as we broke down through 260 here today on Tesla. So yeah, absolutely, this is one you can count on this stock getting traded every single day. Sean, I do want to ask you real quick though.
Sure.
When I was with you last week, you asked me about Roblox. How did that trade finish up?
Roblox. Ooh, I like. Thank you for asking. I always like when we talk about that one. Yeah. So Roblox was the breakthrough $34. So if we come over here, Ramin, come to the screen and we'll talk about it a little bit right now. So there it is. There's that break. We held 34. We take it in this area to the long side. The problem is it's running into a little bit of resistance up here near $40, $41. So it's a nice little move up. We're probably in the money about $4 or $5 right here. But hey, man, we're kind of getting through the summer. I mean, I know it's still early, but that was my call. I want to try to hold it maybe until the end of August, and we'll see if we get some of those monthly active users up. But yeah, thanks for mentioning it. A pretty good look there on Roblox through, that trade. But how much of macro ideas for your personal trading maybe? And I think you told us before, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're more of a swing trader?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So how much do you take in consideration things like that? Macro ideas, like you were just mentioning, or I was mentioning, we just talked about the robo-taxi. Like, is that really a story that we have to worry about right now if we're trying to swing this thing for a month or a couple weeks? Maybe we actually buy it on weakness because we get those stories. How much of that kind of news, and just like Roblox with the summer months here, how much of that kind of news do you actually implement in your own trading?
Well, it depends. It really depends on the time horizon, right? If I'm looking for something short, like short term, yeah, I'll absolutely play headlines because headlines can actually drive some of those moves, right? But in terms of like the robo-taxi example that you just gave, I mean, this to me is a non-factor. This is not ready now. This is not really going to move the needle for the stock now. Maybe you get some headlines like if one of their robo-taxis hits a guy, you're going to have a down move that you can probably play as a short there. Generally speaking, it really depends on the time horizon. If I'm looking for something short, I'll play some of those news headlines, but otherwise I'm going to stick to fundamentals and my own long-term view.
Yeah, I'd like to hear that, Ryan. I'm glad to be on with you. I missed the opportunity to talk to you being off. And I got a question for you. Look, when you're a trader, we have these like weird no-flies, a lot of us anyways. Like we didn't trade Amazon before split when it was like 2,000, 2,500, all that kind of nonsense. And you've seen what's happened in NVDA with the tremendous volume after it had that split. We got Broadcom here, and I'm just wondering because if you're a swing trader, we talk about selling the news and all that kind of stuff. Like you get the push up. Obviously, it's had a pretty good run. It's run into a literal brick wall the last week or so. You can see it's like a very, very defined top. And you're going to get that split effective on Monday. Is this the kind of thing where you would look to make a trade ever running into a split? Walmart was a pretty good one recently, just as an example. Or do you look for sometimes things after this, or not your cup of tea?
Great question. This is absolutely my cup of tea, and I got a great answer for you. One of the first stocks that I ever did this on was Apple. I actually bought Apple going into a split, and I watched it sell off after the split for several days, and I was like, what's going on? What's going on? And it took me a while to realize, well, yeah, people that now have 4 times as much stock are probably taking some profit on there. After all, if a fund's got it and they have money management rules, they might have to trim their position. So as far as your setup here for a potential like stock split, I'm definitely going to wait until after the split. I want to let that stock come in a little bit as the winners or the long-term holders of that stock take some profit, maybe trim their position down. Great example of this right now is Chipotle, right? We had Chipotle run like crazy into its split, and since it's split, it's trying to find a bottom. Maybe we found one right here. This is actually the top end of this gap that we recently did way back in March this year. This is the type of stuff that I want. Better still, if this comes into some type of thing like a moving average, like if Chipotle continues to sell off down to this 200-day moving average, this blue line, boys, I'm backing up the truck. Okay, we are absolutely going to take that as a potential trade here. So yeah, I'm definitely in the camp of waiting for the split to happen. Now with Broadcom though, with your exact example here, if you can go back to the chart real quick, this was actually a trade prior to that split, right? This is one of my favorite formations in all of the market. It's called the floating island. And you have a gap up here, you have a move towards the top, and then you test that range, right? So this came back in. It did not fill the gap. I don't like to see it break down past the bottom of this candle, but came in a little bit more, held. There's your entry trigger. This is a nice little swing trade up into that split. At this point now, though, that wall that you talked about running into that brick wall, now we're going to wait for that split. We'll wait for this to settle.
Yeah, that's a great setup, and thank you. It's actually a formation I've never seen. And again, what's what I love about bringing guests like yourself on, right? Like you're swing trading, you might have different looks there, but I got to tell you, the second you said Chipotle and backing up the truck,
I'm so hungry.
Okay, it made me hungry because I'm still thinking about that brisket we never had, Sean. But more on that later.
True.
And if you're ever up here, maybe we'll take you out for some good brisket that you can get locally. But I was promised brisket this afternoon, didn't get it. But I'm down with
Randy.
Back up the truck at $52 in the 200 period, so 50 period moving average on the weekly of Chipotle. Because the level it's at now, fine. But if you get back in here, I think the sell the news event is done. And we talked about this on our aftermarket show with Costco. Some things when the trend is really good, if you get a pretty steep pullback on it, that's your opportunity to get in there. So this is my leading question. You said back up the truck. Is that more of it's just bouncing off a key level, that's an A+ short-term trade? Or are we talking about this is a buy the dip in the long term and I'm holding on to that for life? Because I think for myself, if I talk about Chipotle and Costco, it'd be looking for ways to get into this thing and then just hold it long term. But are we talking short or long term with this dip buy here?
Oh, I'm on the same page that you are. This is long-term. Listen, as long as those burritos at Chipotle are as delicious as they are, and as long as the quality stays at where they are, this is a long-term hold for me. One of the best possible setups is going to be quality companies coming into a very definable support level and then buying that for the long term. So as far as we're actually going to use the action here to get a better price, and then we're going to stick in with that trade as long as the fundamentals don't change. I'm someone that loves Chipotle burritos. I will constantly do channel checks to make sure that the quality and the taste of the burrito is still there.
You got about a half a dozen people on the floor that are reacting, clearly agreeing with that sentiment. Before I throw it back to Sean.
I get the salad over there. You know, you get the bowls. Yes, yeah? I do.
Okay, no.
I do.
My bad.
Hey, this is not the first time I've heard this, boys. I've heard that if you get the burrito bowl and then you order the tortilla, you get more food for the same price. Am I adding something there?
I'm all for a cheat code. I'm all about that. Value all day. All day, every day.
We just talked the other day about getting 2 Happy Meals versus the chicken nugget meal. It was a little bit of a better value there. You know, when you want to speak about value, there isn't too much at Starbucks when you go there, but you want to talk about levels, and I'm just going to agree with you here about buying higher quality companies. I believe Starbucks is that. They have demand. Tell me if I'm wrong on this, Ryan, but doesn't this look pretty decent down here at 70? Are you a buyer? Our last guest that we had on, I said this is the name that I'm looking at right now. I mean, it's easy for us to say, and honestly, nothing wrong with saying if Chipotle gets to $51. I mean, ifs and buts, right? This is a play that's happening right now. What do you think about Starbucks right here at $72? What does it look like in your opinion?
Okay, so a lot of stuff going on here with Starbucks. First of all, when I take a look at the chart right where we're at right now, hard to argue with this, right? We are at a near-term double bottom that we are testing and so far holding. This same area actually goes back to the April period of 2022. So just kind of retesting that area. I take a look at the RSI here. We're actually in oversold territory. So a short-term bounce here would be prudent, in my opinion. I will say, though, long term here, again, I just told you about fundamentals, whether or not I use the product, what I think about that. Starbucks is not I don't go to Starbucks for my coffee. I brew it at home. So this, to me, unlike the other one, great spot for a short-term trade here. If you take a look at that chart, you'll notice that all of those moving averages are starting to pitch down. So I want to see, for a longer-term trade, I want to see if those moving averages are getting taken out. If we're holding above those, maybe like to see multiple closes above those, then maybe a build, and then we can start talking about long-term. What I see here on the Starbucks chart, you got a really good case for a potential dead cat bounce here. This would be short term. I actually have two other names here that I like a little bit more for a potential long. So I'll probably pass on the longer term Starbucks trade here.
All right, yeah. So if you had a pick, if you had one right now, hopefully we didn't lose him. There he is. Okay, good.
No, you didn't lose me.
All right, so give me the call. So right now, I like Starbucks. A couple other traders around here like Energy. Right now, talking about XLE, talking about some Occidental and whatnot. I don't know. Tech names seem to be a little overbought. Is there anything outside of some of these major names that you're looking at right now to add for a swing trade, not a long-term trade?
Yeah, absolutely. So one here that actually triggered today, going to be ticker HD, Home Depot.
Okay.
If you take a look at the chart here on Home Depot, we did a really good job holding the 200-day moving average. We had a former resistance level that now turns support at 346. If you look intraday, we actually tested that and recaptured it right here in the morning. Now we've bounced up several points off that level, 6 points off that level. We're holding higher. To me, it looks like this stock wants to go higher. So Home Depot, this one actually triggered. Another one that you can take a look at here is going to be Nike. You guys Nike fans, this stock is absolutely obliterated recently. We've come in now a little bit. I've got this 65 level marked off because for me, that's a little bit bigger of a support. But one thing that I was able to notice here in Nike, we flip over to the insiders. You can see the director here buying up shares. So got another nice little insider buy here for Nike. I'd say Nike for a potential swing. If it can hold this area, I just trade this against the recent low here. Pretty simple.
Yep, I like when they're defined.
Yes,
I mean that
Olympics bottom too.
That's what makes. Oh yeah, that's right. We got the Olympics coming out too, so maybe we get a little push and pull from that.
I mean, if you guys see track stars, track athletes standing on the top of the podium and they're wearing Nike shoes, how do you think that's going to translate to the stock price?
It is what it is, man. Like first of all, I'm a huge track and field fan, and there's always like every 4 years you get a bunch of sports that nobody cares about. I shouldn't say nobody, but I love track and field. I watch it all the time, but the average person's not going to give two darns about it till the Olympics come around. And then everybody has their eyeballs and all the best athletes, although there is this unbranded thing going on, which is they're doing a fantastic job themselves. But Nike is going to be plastered with all the top medal winners. But like, what do you think? All the gold medals that are going to get won by the U.S., they're all going to be in those Nike kits, and it's always big press that they get. I actually like this same trade. I'm probably taking the banks, but I would think any Olympics bounce would be a good opportunity to jump out of it. And before, there was one question in the chat, because someone asked me when we were talking about CMG, someone asked me about whether I would be concerned about GLP causing portion control and making those stocks come under pressure. So I wanted to ask you that because there was a couple people in the chat that were like, are you concerned about with GLP that maybe some names like Chipotle, like Kava, and like McDonald's, those types of names, are still under pressure because of this phase, or you just don't care, technical, good company?
No, that's a really great question. This is exactly some of the things that we emphasize that people do here. Tie in as much data as you can. The GLP-1 phenomenon, kind of an interesting one, right? makes you have less of an appetite. But the real kicker there is that the junk food, the really bad food, just straight up makes you sick. Now, the one other thing to keep in mind with the GLPs, I know it's all the rage right now. I believe just this weekend, we got another study that said some people get blind from taking these as a possible side effect. Be honest with you, if you guys asked me if I wanted a little bit more weight from Chipotle burritos or being blind, that's an easy choice for me. So I would say let's give this a little bit more of some room to kind of play out here. The other thing is I think Chipotle is probably a little bit better than stocks like McDonald's, or if you wanted to go the Yum route, something like that. I think that's kind of junkier food. I think those are really going to take the brunt of the GLP-1 phase more so than something like Chipotle or Kava, for example. I think those are healthier alternatives that people that are taking these drugs are going to try and seek out anyway.
I like that. That makes a lot of sense.
Chad, absolutely loving that talk and the in-depth analysis. Appreciate it, Ryan.
Yeah, thank you so much. One more time, Ryan Fluna from Benzinga. So, yeah, your Benzinga Pro platform, we use it live here on the show. We want to thank you guys for doing a great job with that one. So, you want to leave our audience with anything here, Ryan?
Yeah, I mean, stay green and stay safe, right? Like, you only need to get wealthy one time, so don't blow it trying to be a hero. Market's going to be open every day. Try and figure out what those patterns are, what works for you, what doesn't, and then copy and paste the stuff that works, omit the stuff that doesn't work. Here,
this is for you.
Great word.
Awesome. There it is. We like that kind of talk. We consider ourselves risk managers around here, and I think that's the right way to do it, so that account is forever existing. Thank you, Ryan. It's been a good one. Have a great one. May your trades be profitable, my friend.
Thanks, Ryan.
Stay green. We'll see you next time.
See you, my guy. All right, there it is. Ryan Fluna from the Benzinga Network. Thank you so much for that one. What a great bunch of guests that we just had back to back. Just never stops. We had Raheem this morning.
Never.
And then we go with Andrew and then Ryan. So thank you so much for all of that. And by the way, since we've been gone, we've been hitting some nice trades as we go short on the SPY right now. Thank you for putting that question in the midday and asking for this. It made me think about it. Why are we only trading NASDAQ? Let's take our talents to South Beach and start trading SPY. So we'll do that right here. Why do I have Palantir up on so many screens?
Never compete for a championship.
Right here. So there it goes. S&P right now. Nice downside push, but it is bouncing off that 557. So we've just been taking it out. We need to do a better job of maybe getting a little bit more out if it does come back in. Let's bid some 05s here. And then honestly, I'm thinking lower, man. I don't even have any bids outside of now much lower than this into the 80s. So right here, that's 70s. I'm bidding right at these bottoms. See if we can get a flush downside right now in the spot. So yeah, that's what we're doing right now. We're short the SPY. We're still long Amazon. That's $1.20 in the money. And Starbucks, I was going to say we're almost out of it. I didn't even realize this wasn't even doing anything to my net because of this SPY trade. But all the way back in, this could be a good buy opportunity now for Starbucks. We only have 10% left on this trade. But still, we've messed up because we should have got out when it broke the 50 period moving average. Nice little pullback into the 200 now for SBUX. So, Starbucks, right. So good trade there. We've done well on Starbucks. We're trying to get a bigger winner here on SPY. It's 20 cents in the money now. Let's see if it can dip below this 557. And if we can get back to at least, I mean, this is the NASDAQ, but there it is. There's the 20 cents there. It's not like it's a huge trade or anything, but if you guys are trading options, we're short rate here. I was going to get out like in and around a 50, 60 break or so, looking at some of these tops. So that's kind of my level of risk right now, 25 cents or so. So we'll take 20 cents and there it is. See if it can get down right now as we put that up there. Moving up the ladder here in P&L talk is SPY. Adara.
Not a ton of volume of this move. It came through well. We had our guest here, but just be aware, Lockheed Martin, LMT, this one getting a pretty significant volume candle here and continuing to trade to the downside. Bloomberg reported that Turkey is set to cut back its $23 billion deal for F-16 jets with the U.S. Lockheed Martin in the aerospace and global security play. So definitely not a great look for this stock right now. LMT, guys.
Yeah, wow, you don't want to see funding cut.
They bought that right back. Isn't the F-16 isn't that a little older? I guess, yeah, well, it's Turkey. They're going to sell something that's an older plane to them. They're not going to give them they're not going to get the best stuff.
Hey Davis was like, hey, if we have Danielle Shea on today, it'll be like the World Series. Well, guess who's coming in the market recap show
and she's got fired
today? It's Danielle Shea. So hit that QR code there and find out more about that show. Oh yeah, that's right. The QR code is gone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just stick here. You don't have to go anywhere.
Stay
We
put.
just go right over to the desk.
Period.
We walk over there. Well, okay, fine. We crutch over to the desk and then we get back on it. But I want to point out, Lockheed Martin just pulled it all back. Seriously?
What happened?
Oh no, that's fine. I don't have like the slip on everything. So, no one wants to see my toes, Ram. I'm just saying. No, not at all. No, I just want to say Lockheed Martin. This came all the way back. That's a real candle. It's just right back. They bought it right back up. So yeah, that's not necessarily good news, but that's kind of like, it could just be like a one and done type of thing. So I don't look at that and say automatic short like we would on any kind of news. That is one heck of a big rollover. I'm going to get over to Apple very quickly because Apple's at VWAP. So Apple, VWAP, 228.50, pre-market, opening range, first support, yada, 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 yada. You can see it. It's a bit of a triple top here on Apple. If we break VWAP, I think that's kind of an easy out. But the market is starting to curl, as Sean's been showing you, and Apple can't seem to make that next push yet through VWAP as it just gets there right now. Come on, fill me in these 30s. I'm sitting here at Magic Johnson trying to pick some up. I like 32.
Yeah, I like that number.
Michigan State is what it is. Whatever. I just take some 30s. MSU's okay, but they are not very good recently. I will say that. And by the way, when you mention that take your talents to South Beach, I'm boldly stating LeBron is no longer going to be competing for championship. It's over. Really. He doesn't care. Yeah, it's just whatever. He's done very well.
He's made $583 million on the court.
I just think if he wanted to still be trying to win, there's past the Lakers could have taken. They've taken a different one. So.
The guy's never really tried to win. I mean, he just put together these super teams because he could with all of his friends, and then right now he tried to do it again. I mean, look, if you're not winning with Anthony Davis, you're not.
I like what Philly's done.
You're not winning, okay? Right now, and if Joel Embiid can't win this time around,
no, I mean, if he can't,
they're getting rid of Joel Embiid, or they're getting rid of their GM because Joel Embiid has had so many players to go. Now they've just got him Paul George. He's got Maxey. If he cannot put it right now, then I think Joel Embiid, that process may be over.
It's he's obviously a fantastic. He's a great player, but give me a break. With Paul George, you've got to be able to win. It's put up or shut up time for them. Like it's one of those.
And the East sucks. Like Boston. But I'm saying they could go. I mean, Milwaukee, I don't want to ever count out Giannis. Giannis. If he's back and healthy.
The Knicks aren't bad.
No, but I'm just saying compared to the West. Like I'm just saying.
Oh, the West is a beast.
Because Paul George moves from the West over there.
And then Dallas now with Clay.
Yeah, and I don't know. Like I still think the Joker and those guys have been okay. Jamal Murray didn't play that well into those playoffs.
He's saving it for Team Canada.
Hopefully saving for Team. They played the U.S. last night. I don't see. I was watching a little bit of it.
There was some trolling.
We were winning.
There was some trolling in the chat of our basketball team by the viewers, which I was just ignoring, pretending. Whatever.
What about it?
Don't worry when it counts, son. Brooks is ready.
Yeah, I mean,
SGA.
Right now,
we're ready.
France. They've got France. Got three in the top 10. I think got drafted over there.
It was a weak draft.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it wasn't the greatest draft. All right, we just got some bids down there on. Of course, we talked about SPY that all started with taking our talents over to the futures, and there it is right now, down to 557. We'll see. Again, not thinking that this is going to be the greatest trade of all time. I don't know. There's not much happening right now. Just a little retracement is possible into the day. These are the ES futures, of course. It's going to look the same. I was just thinking that, hey, maybe we don't take out that top and we do retrace back in. But we just bounced off the 50 period again. So we're actually in half of this position, right? Less than. Actually only in about a third of it. Womp womp. Hopefully we'll get some more up here into the 40s. But for right now, out at 55, 57, 60. So we'll play this top to get out of that and look for more trades as we go.
Take one guess at AMD's price.
Oh,
I'm
back to 180?
Okay, it's the other price, 181.5.
Oh, it's back to
because there was two. Remember, there was two levels this morning. It was 180 and 181.
Yeah, sure. We hit that
and a half, and it's at the 181. Check that. Yeah, no, it is at 181.5. Sorry, I have Tesla up here, but I was going to say something about Tesla, but just we're breaking out VWAP in here. I have Apple at VWAP, and the market breaks it out from here. Taking one shot on Apple is fine, but AMD was such a rocket ship to the downside. Why can't I zoom out? there we go. Most of the day with that double top that you would think there would just be continuation, but the breakout is real. 180-150 was yesterday's. There it is, yesterday's double bottom support. I want to make sure you guys saw that in the afternoon. If we do not bust that, fair, probably with the short, but if this market's breaking out, don't need two things ripping on it. If we get above 182, this might be a good reversal play. There's only 40 minutes left to go. I feel like things have gotten skewed because we finished with a guest. I feel like we usually have like an hour.
Yeah.
And so when we just finished, I'm a little bit out of the sorts because we only have like 30 minutes to go till we get the imbalances. Apple just broke out. Maybe this isn't the one. So Apple tried this consolidation short offer resistance, but it's starting to go. I'm not feeling like I just got into this one. Okay, we consolidated. It looked like a good setup. You're at a resistance spot. I'm not really feeling this short right now. I don't like AMD could break it out here, but I feel like it needs to get through 82. That's why I was looking at Tesla. Is there a long setting up breakout on Tesla? This needs to get through 246. Man, Tesla's weak. It's not going. No. Maybe even just, I'm going to go back over to AMD. I feel like AMD, once I could have just reversed at 180. It's too late now. You can't go back. The short was at that price. We had it. And at the end of the day, you can't rewind time. So VWAP is here at that 180, 150. If you take it, you probably are already in this one to the south side. But I don't wonder if this market isn't trying to break out. Give it a chance to do so. We'll see.
All right, I'm going to put one more bid down here at 02. Take that out. Get that going right there. Spin it one more time. And a little bit of a face slap here as we hope for the market to come back down. We did not get reloaded back up there. We are waiting at 40s. That went to 30s. Our short is at 42s. Right there, that went to 31. So we're not even really that close. But we'll take a fill as it comes back over to 02 there. And we'll sit on the bid and take that out. Get rebates, get paid to trade. That's what we're trying to do right now on these names as spiders come back in. We are now bidding. We talked about where we were bidding 87s. If that does come, that just missed us last time as it came to 88s or 89s. So we'll just keep it there, whatever. It shouldn't price, honestly, on a $560, $557 name. That's the market. I'm not going to worry about missing it by 1 penny. This is not something to be worried about. It's obviously a derivative. It will just trade through if it goes. So let's wait to see if we do get that level and not worry too much about it. I'm thinking now, if I'm going to look for shorts, I mean, NASDAQ's trying to break. Why don't we just clear this Amazon trade right now? It is 1 at M. So it is like us. And this is, again, another Kendrick thing. This is like us with this dollar. So we will get out right now at 11s or 12s. There it goes. We get that print right now. What was for lunch today was...
No. It was chicken.
Chicken, that's right. We did not get the email, but we talked about it on the midday show when Sharif or Adara asked. It was
corn and cob.
Yeah, barbecue chicken with, I think, some corn and rice. It looked like there was some chickpeas potentially.
Yeah, it was like it was kind of like a southern
as well, but
rice.
Yeah, there's Amazon. It's too bad. Like I said, man, we should have gone for a little bit of a longer walk because we really screwed this trade up. We went long there looking for a stop through 194 and forgot to put the stop in. But obviously, it comes all the way back up off of that little base there at 93, and we sort of pulled that through on why we liked that trade. So I hope that made a little bit of sense for everybody. Now, again, Spider's still here. Only a little bit of time left. We're at the highest spot we've been at all day, so I'm not, we're not going to complain about anything. We're just going to hope to get a little bit more fills on the downside here for SPY. And then possibly load up Starbucks again if it comes to VWAP. We'll talk about that at 72.95. But that was a big out for us. We only have 10% left. Let's wait to see if we can get something else.
So I elected not to take AMD because AMD felt like it was relatively strong getting all the way to VWAP and back to that big level. But NVIDIA, I was just putting in the chat there, NVIDIA looks a little bit weak because it did pull back and making lower highs the entire way. They're kind of the same in terms of like overall trend, basically the same thing, but just a little bit less strength I'm seeing over there in NVIDIA. I like stocks making lower highs for an entry. So we grab it off this 129 level. I'm still watching AMD for a potential breakout if it can happen. But, the market just kind of pulled back in there.
Oh, yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, AMD just made that shot. You could have shorted AMD off 181.5, and it would have worked out absolutely fine in the short run. But I feel like it's just looking a little bit stronger than everything else. And Tesla right back to the low of the day. Tesla might break 240 today. Like the way that it's going. The bottom is 241 change. If you lose the low before we get to like 330 or like the imbalances, that really looks in the imbalances, you've got some time to break down to $240. Triple bottom here on Tesla. I know there's some people that would try a long off that. I'm not thinking long at all. I'd rather long something which is trying to break out higher lows and all that stuff like an AMD. So we'll have eyeballs on that. Of course, it's trying. It doesn't mean it is breaking. But it's getting close, man. You can see it coiling up here on AMD. Just make that punch through, hold above 181.5, and I think this one has a chance to go. But again, it's just a chance. Yes, man, Tesla, unbelievable. I'm so used to Tesla in the afternoons on days like today finding a bottom and giving one of those $5, $10 bounces. I'm not sure it has it in it today.
Tesla?
I don't know. It just doesn't feel like one of those days.
Now there's only 30 minutes left, and we still have those imbalances that come out, and they've been affecting the market quite a bit over the last little while. I mean, I'm trying to stare intently at AMD here because I actually think that I'm going to try to short this thing, but it's going to have to come up to 182. Like this is a level right here. I know we wrote down, where's my sticky note? Somewhere anyways, I don't know. Oh, here it is. We wrote down long 180 on AMD. Obviously that would have worked now. We did not expect this kind of a move down there off CPI. So some of the levels will be a little bit whacked out, but we talked about wanting to get long AMD. Walmart, we didn't even look at that today. The Amazon 201 short sell. I mean, let's go with that one. That's a Brendan-like call right there. And then the QS short 8, we never got to that. Then the Alibaba long, I think you got in, but I never got started with that one. So yeah, let's see if AMD can get there. Again, like the short, and I like the long and the short. I just tried the break and give it to view up with a tight stop. It's not going. Okay. It's not going. So I'm out of it, but it's weird also because I'm short NVIDIA. It's like, if you think the chips are going down, like, yeah, look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA's like starting to work. You know what? You need to see successive higher lows. Forget about just a breakout trade. You know what I mean? Like I basically just took it when it broke that wick, and then I'm like, okay, well, if it holds 50 when it breaks that wick, that's something you do when it's a bullish market. Right. You want breakouts in the bullish market, so, you know, we'll stick that. It doesn't make any sense either. Like, NVIDIA is probably going to flush into 128 and then get the low of the day as well. I'm willing to bet you Intel is, actually, I shouldn't say that, because the last time I made this comment, I was dead wrong. See? On SPY. I was about to say I'm willing to bet you Intel's about to break 33. See? And Intel, for reasons unknown, is getting ready to back up into resistance. I'm going to take this short. Look at this. 33.75 here on Intel. Trying to triple bottom, not getting data all the way back there. But I kind of like this level here on Intel. I thought it might be bouncing off the lows and there wouldn't be a trade. But if the market's going to roll over and one of the weaker chip names is available, then let's take that shot. Let AMD prove itself a little bit more. So we have NVIDIA. It's about 35 pennies in the money. I'm going to try and grab Intel here at 65 and then give it to, this high is 33.72. So if it breaks 33.72, assuming I actually get in, then I would be jumping out of that trade. Only 30 minutes to go. For now, we're still in a downward trend, and with that little time left, why try to bucket yet? Yep, I would agree with that.
Almost done, man. This is like...
I'm still trying to wait for the SPY. It's still dancing around 557.
34.50?
Something like that, yeah. 34.50 or so right here. We'll see if we can get it, again, hopefully into the 80s. We told you, okay, we're bidding 87s, and there it is. We will take that. That's a little bit of a face slapper right there, 50 cents in the money as, yeah, the talents go to South Beach and South Side, hopefully, for the market here down now. Let's see how far we can go. I'm probably
Georgia. What do we do for you?
Right now, hold on a second. Where was our Amazon out? Pretty good. Okay, right here. Let's double check this Starbucks. I mean, Starbucks is starting to go back up to the upside. Let's take advantage of this. I think the market could fall. I don't have to think that. I'm looking at the market. Looks like market wants to fall in right here. So there it is. We'll take out there. We got out of pretty much all of our Starbucks. Well, you know what? We got part filled. We could offer it out again if we wanted to and just get the rest out. Maybe let's just do that and not get too cute. There it is with what's happening with Starbucks. Props it up right there for all of you drinking that, because that was a good one, man. Drink the Kool-Aid right there. Nice upside move for Starbucks. Take advantage. We were talking about buying this.
They should sell Kool-Aid.
They basically do. They have a lot of like summery drinks like that, and you get all that stuff all the time. But right there, 73.25 or so. Nice upside move there. We'll take advantage of that. We could have bought it on the 200 there. We could have bought it on 200. But, Starbucks was a call that we had made recently for that long. We definitely like it. I do anyways. I'll probably be buying some maybe tomorrow, maybe tonight. Who knows? Starbucks, good trade there, it looks like. Yeah, other than that, man, let's just try to enjoy the rest of this afternoon, and hopefully this market will continue to go down. We're just 50 cents in the money, and honestly, this is now a pretty top name for me, the SPY, as there it goes, man. Yes, sir. Get into the gates right now. As we talked about this, now, we just hit the 200 period. I don't even have any bids down here. I was not realizing it could get this quick for us right now. There it is, man. Nice trade on the short for the market. You guys asked for the SPY. Delivered, right? Asked and delivered right there, SPY. This is why, hopefully, we have that midday little segment there. We know what you guys are interested in. I went over there, traded it, and there it is. This is going to be my third name. My top P&L, third most P&L today for me is on SPY, and we just started the trade.
Yeah, Intel's not going to pass Amazon for me. I doubt it, but we jumped over to it. Intel, it sucks that the stock is doing this poorly because I thought this was going to be a potential breakout, like a big-time breakout if it could get through 35.40. As a matter of fact, like for 2 days in a row, sorry, not 2 days in a row because it was 2 days ago. I wasn't here yesterday, so the last 2 trading days, I've had a stop order for a breakout at 35.40 on Intel, and for both those 2 days, I guess yesterday, if you traded it, it's rejected it. But we took this one, we grabbed it, got 64s and 63s. It's already heading back into the low of the day. NVIDIA continuing to crack down, just tagged 128 change. We got 28.75s, looking for the low of the day, double bottom here on NVIDIA. And interestingly enough, AMD, I got out of AMD. AMD is still just hanging out at VWAP. So I still I kind of favor the shorts here, but AMD's kind of strong. I feel like if something's going to go, this does look like a good one to the upside. So 330 just hit. I'm expecting not to see much of anything. Tomorrow's a Friday, so maybe you'll get better on the early looks. But it being a Thursday, overall market, in General Motors, 3 million, usually a name that's going to pair off almost every single time. CNQ, no one cares. Chipotle, an early look, 1 million sell. That could be something. Potentially LUV there for an early look. But I think CMG, maybe that's something. I don't think I've seen Chipotle on the imbalance locator ever. So for there to be a 1 million sell imbalance early look at least, that could be a spicy meatball. Whatever. That's a bad pun.
We like the spicy.
Never had meatballs there. I have no idea if they do spicy ones.
I've
never told you the story. I've had Chipotle like one time in my entire life.
They do not do meatballs, but they would be spicy. They did probably.
I like spicy meat.
Yeah, for sure. They have some. Chipotle is great. Okay, let's just keep on watching, keep on paying attention right here. We just got out on the SPY. I have now 10% left. You know, we talked about us hitting some levels, and that's exactly what happened, man. Boom, 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 boom. All the way. Look, it could go a lot lower. I don't know, but this is what I'm doing. I'm going to try to take this trade and now massage it if it comes back up, but we're obviously playing with house money. We talked about this trade. So there it is right now. Thank you to Raider, Trader, Ryan Faluna, and all of our guests that joined us today. We had a great little run there. So very, very pleased, very, very happy. Thanks, guys, again for that. Now Adair is ready. It's 3:32. She's over at the green screen.
Lots of names making some outsized moves today. Of course, we had that whole move down in the market. We had our Tesla drop. There are some other names with some interesting catalysts worth talking about today, making some larger S&P 500 moves, including Uber. UBER, this one up over 5%. We did have that report from Bloomberg suggesting that Tesla is delaying its robo-taxi unveiling. So Uber and Lyft getting a bit of a move up on this one. We also have here Airbnb, this one down almost 4%. CEO Brian Chesky selling about $17 million worth of shares here. So Airbnb insider sell to the downside. Last but not least, this is an interesting one here. We have Costco, COST. Of course, we know this one popped earlier yesterday and also a little bit earlier in the morning today, getting some positive analyst notes after that increase in its memberships yesterday and strong year-over-year sales for June. However, some of these analysts, including D.A. Davidson, saying that it's normal to have this sell the news event, especially because this was something that some analysts were waiting for Costco to announce. So COST, despite the good moves, down about 4%, guys.
Yes, sir. And you know what? This is amazing because there was a good question in the chat. Matt Carnes, I'm just going to show the question because I'm going to actually put a ticket in for this pretty much right away. Can you write code into the list that shows what the volume on the day is for these stocks? Will make it easy to see the percentage on the imbalance versus the daily volume. I think that's an excellent suggestion. I thought it was so obvious that I went in and I went to check to see what columns I can put in there, and volume on the day isn't there. But I think that's a great idea, because then I could just put that right next to the paired volume, next to the market time, and then you'd see, like General Motors, I have to pull it up to see that it's done 7.6 million in volume on the day. So that 3.3 million that's like half the daily volume. I want to know that. Why not? Great suggestion. Okay, I won't put the ticket in. I'm going to tell Wayne to put the ticket in.
Yeah, exactly.
But we'll get it done.
Yeah, no, that probably won't get done. I remember asking that a long time ago. Because we have all the different columns. It could get. I don't want to say it won't get done, but let's see. Okay, I hope it gets done, because I think that would be great. It just stops us from having to wonder.
Yeah.
It's just, okay, hopefully it does. And again, that's the whole thing about, real trading. If there is an addition that you want to get into the software, you can put in those support tickets and get it done, just like what Michael Knopf was talking about before. So with Real Trade, with Trade Ideas, he can input some of those scanners right in there. We do here at Real Trading, by the way, our #1 sponsor. Real Trading, thank you so much for continuing with that. And that's the program and the platform that both Neil and I are using. And we haven't actually mentioned Real Trading in a minute here.
Yes,
so
let's
just do that again. I hope that some of the trades that I've been putting on for you today give you an opportunity to see, that, you can make a little bit of money both trading the futures here with the SPY. Or, we talked about trading some Bitcoin. We have that on our platform as well. Oil futures, everything. Over 30 different, here's it is right here. Over 50 different markets, over 3,000 plus traders. That's including both live and in simulation. Many more traders than that if you add them all up, including the simulation. Over 400 million shares, 3 billion a day. It's a prop firm, so go find them out. Realtrading.com, our #1 sponsor. There's the link or the QR code. Make sure you scan that today and get more information. So that's Real Trading, and I've been here basically with this company or others. If you heard Daniel on the podcast there talk about when I hired the guy all the way back in the day, was different names, but I've been here for 22 something years like that. So it's been a lot of fun doing many different things. What's up, Miguel, right here? Real Trading Rules. There it is. Miguel in the chat. Thank you for that right there. So let us know what office you're with, or if you're trading by yourself or anything like that. Real Trading with Miguel.
Yeah, where you're from.
Good little look. Yeah. Thanks. AMD were short.
AMD.
You were taking that long break, no? But then you got stopped.
No, I took the long break, and then I went over into, like I said, NVIDIA, which this is what I got to get to, because, whoops.
That's okay. I got this.
The drop down's annoying. No, NVIDIA is right at the reload spot.
We are we just put AMD in our pocket right here, and let's go. This is honestly, guys. You guys are gonna be like, why is this guy getting excited? He's only 20 cents in the money. But honestly, like, this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to stack it up right now. We're trying to put some profits inside and worry about this, because here it goes. Gonna take it out 182. My stop on this is 182.50. So we just took some out there, 182 and change. We actually got out of half right there, because whenever moves like this happen and it's just like boom like that, I definitely want to get some out on the pullback down in. So we are quickly in and out there of AMD, watching out for 182.50. I mean, my order's in there right now. We just got real excited real quick right there, because the market did that blast up. So I could average, we could, I don't have any offers, do I? No, I don't have. I better not overfill. That's the one thing. Let's see if we get some more here in the mid to high 30s, and then we're going to get stopped out if there it is, if this breaks through 50s. So it looks like that was a great long on some of these chip names that they battled back, man. Here it goes. So happy that we took some out, as there's the blast. You got to react there it is. So you got to react to those plays. Like, we just lost a little bit there, but honestly, that was good that we were able to get out. Like, we got out of half, reloaded, and lost again. So basically a net will wind up down, but we did make a little bit there. Initially, nice move higher there. You were just in and out.
NVIDIA just came back through.
Right.
So NVIDIA just broke right back above the 129 level. So we're out of that one. Intel was the other one. Yeah, the long probably. I just, at the moment, I was favoring shorts. It is what it is. So I got out of it. Look, Intel and NVIDIA both went down, and the move worked. No question about it. But you could have been long one chip and short another, as AMD did prove that relative strength. So Intel just came out. Wow, you could have reversed that.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
What else is going here? Tesla.
Everything's starting to go ham.
Oh my goodness, Tesla did bounce off while we're looking at the chips. Tesla got 240. It wicked it, and now there's your $3 move that's probably going to turn into $5 on Tesla at 338. Wow, it's already 338.
Wow.
okay, is Tesla going to rally into the close? Is this the one? All roads may lead back to AMD. Quickly, we'll get to that super chat in a second. I'm just going to stick with the chip names. I can talk myself into Tesla all I want, but Tesla had bad news. Why go for that in a rally? If there's a dip before the imbalances, maybe back into 182 on AMD, that's going to make sense. I almost flipped over and said, let's try Tesla. But Vinu, any thoughts on Delta? It has recovered. Good time to sell or hold. I'm probably just going to say what I said in the aftermarket show was my opinion on Delta, which was I'm not a huge fan of the airlines, and about the only thing that was appealing to me was the fact that if you got an expected move kind of to the downside, it would bounce off the 200-period moving average. It did that. So congratulations if you caught the falling knife. I'm not a fan of the airlines. I think it has to hold out that 42 level. It's a consolidation day and a great rally. After earnings, I don't want it to hold a level once. If I'm looking for a post-trade earnings, I want it holding support for a couple of days in a row and then breaking a channel to the upside. So it's got a higher low to work off of for tomorrow and next week. So either 43.80, this one here, or 42. If one of those two shows me a double or triple bottom, then break out the top. That's generally what I look for after. But I look back at it now. It's like, yeah, we probably should have traded Delta, but I didn't even look at this in the pre-market because it's not normally something that I like to trade for the day trade. Travel names on earning mornings, I like CCL and the Carnival, like the cruise lines. Not so much the airlines myself, but hey, 42 was a great play.
So here we go, man. We're back. Let's go. We're back in 10 cents now in the money on the SPY. Let's see if it wants to print us out here or not. Down even a little bit lower. There it is. Yes, sir. We get the 30s. Let's go. We get the 25s. Let's go. Wow, man. We do like this. Again, thank you so much for the SPY suggestions. We talked about where we were sitting. I mean, we said we were sitting in the 40s there to take this short. And that's, I mean, we're short right now, 47. So there it goes. Nice little trade to get the SPY back into the short on that move higher. So again, we talk about how simple I try to make trading. And I think we're doing that because we're just playing off support and resistance levels here. And I don't, you know, like I said, making trades. I love being here and doing all of this, but I even like it even better when it starts to make sense and levels start to hold. And it's just like, you know, the matrix hits for you again. So, yeah, man, really, really great trading here again. I want to thank everybody for being part of our team. One more time, Raider, Trader, Ryan, Faluna. And then it was Terra. What was the Terra? Terra Engineering. Thank you, Adara, there for the $200 super chat, to which tomorrow, I don't know who's going to be responsible for this, Brendan.
I'm going to miss it.
Yeah, but tomorrow we got to get beer and Wingstop.
Well, I shouldn't be drinking beer anyways.
I'm making a executive decision.
Yeah, Wingstop
is Terra in here. Is Terra Nova Engineering in the chat? Because with that permission, I will change it because my girl over there, Ramin, is huge into Wingstop, and she deserves that. So I'm gonna
100% just do it. Well, it's last time we got a super chat for pizza and beer, and I had to drink a beer by myself.
Yeah, that's because weak sauce around here.
I felt very lonely. Yeah. I know you would have had one, but
would have had one. I mean, come on, man. I mean, if they're gonna
and it was Coors Light because so the story was no. You know, Wayne has that Coors Light cowboy hat.
Yes.
So Obi was wearing the Coors Light bucket hat. So I'm like, you know, Yanni went to go grab the stuff because I didn't want to crush to the beer store.
There's Terra Engineering is here.
There we go. So
wings are great. It is done.
Done.
That is done. Tomorrow we will get some Wingstop delivered here. Thank you so much for that super chat. That was a lot of fun. And again, it was the pun game that got paused, I think, for an hour.
No, but you know what's interesting about that? It was an hour long with no puns.
Look at the spot.
But I promise you, there were more puns said in the overall show than normal, despite that hiatus for an hour.
Okay.
Throwing it out.
That's.
It's true.
Yeah, true.
I'm going to pretend that I count it.
Right now, guys, look what we're doing on the SPY. Nice little movement here to the downside. Oh, yeah. Guys, we're now 80 cents in the money on this short. We just shorted this thing. What, like, forget about it. Someone said scratch life there. We need to get a couple lottery tickets back in right now. This is what we're doing on the SPY again. Okay, we did it right there one more time. So, yeah. I mean, this is trading, man. Today, Apple, AMD, Amazon. I mean, remember I said this morning I can't get that smile off my face. We're almost up double what we were up then now. This Meta we took $13 on. I thought we were doing pretty good when we took that. that just went down to 509. We were short early at 535 on the 200 period move down and on a little bit of a gut feel there on where we were going with this market. So definitely paid off there. And we did have what Adara has coined the Seanfidence with this trade, holding it for $13 all the way down to the downside. It is the #1 P&L stock here, infinitely times over. So good trade there for Meta on the day, and we could have made more and held it for a little bit longer. But yeah, it's going to be tough getting the smile off the face here today, especially earlier on too. We had Amazon all the way up here before having it long, which also paid dirt as well. So yeah. We wish Neil best of luck and speedy recovery, and he'll be back in on Monday. But tomorrow will be Obi taking the reins, so we'll see hopefully some big trades there as well. And yeah, it'll be okay.
Safe travels in. What's hilarious, I actually forgot to tell the story of what happened to myself this morning. But first, before we get to that, AMD, I said I kind of preferred it to the long side, so we wait for that. Remember that 181.50 level? The 181.50 is exactly VWAP. It just bounced off. It got some 73s. We'll play back into 182, into 182 half. We have 5 minutes till the imbalances come in, so want to take some profit before we get to the imbalances, and then tighten up the stop as we get to 350.
Oh wow!
But yeah, there's the bounce off VWAP. AMD is just a little bit relatively stronger than something like an NVIDIA. Whoops! I just typed NVDA, which is clearly obviously not a stock. Like NVIDIA is still going down. Like I got out of that one when it got back to break even. We could have just got right back into the short.
Wow.
Like NVIDIA is just definitely different having a weekday, but AMD is certainly the strong one. I'll give it to this local high, 182.70. 75 is the top. If we can get up there, then it'll probably be the last trade for me. But I got rear-ended this morning. And the best part about it, like I'm fine. It wasn't even that big of a deal. But the driver that's been picking me up, great dude, we got hit by a cop. It was a cop that rear-ended us on the road. It's like it was 100% their fault. It was raining and all that stuff. But it's like, come on. We're on an off-ramp, so you're not even going that fast. They were clearly just like asleep at the wheel. But everything is all good. But I would not say, just because we have an update today, I don't want to get rear-ended every single day. I was in my Zen. I was listening to my audiobook. And then I got shook up a little bit, but the driver's been absolutely fantastic. All right, getting a bit of a curl.
Same driver
here.
every day?
Well, each week it's been the same. So last week I had one guy. This week it's been the same driver. I don't know if it's going to be. He said it might be him next week as well, but certainly we'll see how it does go. And I promise you this: if there's any way that I can have, I don't know if it's going to be my parents or my mom or my wife back in time to bring me food and pick me up from surgery.
Yeah.
But I want chicken wings.
Right, exactly.
As well. I'm not going to be here to eat the chicken wings, but I'm eating chicken wings tomorrow, one way or the other.
Yeah.
One way or the other, I'm not missing out on
Remember
that.
last time we got in trouble because we got some boneless there.
Well,
But now get ready for a mean in my ear. Here we go. What? It's Terra Engineering. Whatever Terra Engineering.
it's just they just taste better. They just taste better. Like,
I'm getting that lemon pepper. I am getting that lemon pepper.
Yo, the lemon pepper is that fire. That's good stuff. So just very quickly, I'm out. I just grabbed out of AMD. It was probably better if you got the long the first time, but the last dip buy into VWAP, it just got 181.50 to 182.50. I had 70s to 40s, so really on that dollar move, you get like 70 cents in there. With 3 minutes to go till the imbalances come out here, not expecting anything crazy, but it was Chipotle with the early look 1 million sell. So my eyeballs are going to, and it's right down at the low of the day. Chipotle is getting sold. We've talked a lot about Chipotle, still an early look 1 million to the sell side, and at the low of the day is Chipotle. So let's see if something happens here and there. Samit Patel, it ain't no thing but a chicken wing. I love that line.
Yes, sir. It ain't no thing but
And a chicken wing is a good thing.
Look at this. Look at this reload area here on the SPY. Back to real trading over here for me. Short again. Boom, boom, boom. Goes the dynamite. We really like that trade. We just put that out for you guys as well. And again, we now have that 10% left, as we're not going to be messing around too much with these imbalances again here today. So yeah, good market, good day. We had a crazy move in the CPI. We'll talk a little bit about that. And we have PPI tomorrow. So different things happening in this market. We'll see if we can fade back out a little bit. Was really happy that Apple started to go here today. Oopsies, AAPL started to go here today. Right there, Apple. So 228. We did have a nice move from the morning that gave us that 232 short that I keystroked out of immediately, which is very strange. And we got out of there. We meant to put a stop order in and we put the wrong price. We got stopped out. And then boom, all the way to the downside right there. You know, good recovery day for Apple, considering, I'm calling it a recovery day. It's still down 2%, but we were down here to 226. Made a move back up. We just touched 228.50. So again, down there $5, make 2 of it back. Not bad there for Apple. We'll see if it can hold out. And then, of course, Tesla, probably the biggest individual story today because so many names were cruising. You know, and Tesla was one of those names. Why isn't my chart updated to Tesla? There it is, like really breaking, and then it finally gets to a level where people may be considering selling up here around 260, 270, 280, and then you get that bad news there with a possible delay in robo-taxi. Was it production? I'm not even sure.
No,
exactly.
It's the presentation. So they were going to do the presentation with the on earnings at the 8th, and they've pushed that back to October because they wanted to have like a working model. Is the right word? Well, whatever. A working model to be able to show off. So that's why they pushed it back. But I was expecting some kind of a tweet or a comment from Elon because the last time we got news like this, remember, I feel like it was like 20, 30 minutes later, like an hour later, Elon had something to say about one of those stories. And he said it was he said no, it's not true. But he's kind of quiet here. So keep your ear to the ground. 10 seconds to check that. 3 seconds ago, we'll see these imbalances. Maybe Chipotle comes out bigger than a million. Maybe it doesn't. NVIDIA, 3.5 million sell side.
Ouch.
That's the big one. Yesterday, when I was looking for an NVIDIA to be a sell imbalance, it wasn't, and then today it is. I don't see Chipotle anymore. We have WBDs to the buy side. Snaps a 1 million buy imbalance. That could be interesting. Lucid, 900,000 sell. Not really interesting. Marvell, 800,000 to the sell side. That's not a bad number for Marvell. Doesn't do a ton of volume. Alphabet, 700,000 to buy. It's feeling kind of mixed here. There's like one big buy, one big sell. The SPY is 225 million to buy overall. The NQ 350 to buy, and the Mag 7 35 million to buy. So very, very slightly skewed to the buy side. I mean, very slightly skewed to the buy side there. But Marvell might stand out. So it doesn't do a ton of volume. So 800,000 shares to sell. That's a good 15% of the daily volume on Marvell.
Adair just gave us the number there. Was 225 to buy, 350 to buy. So. Yeah, pretty low. 350 was on the NASDAQ. And when you write SPY, is that just because SPY, so...
S&P 500 imbalance.
The S&P 500, okay. I was going to say because NASDAQ will have some of those, like NVIDIA will be in that number.
So it's double counting.
Right, so that's what I was going to say. I was going to, you know what, anyway, it doesn't matter. Big number there, 350 million there to buy all across the world. So we'll see here what happens. Obviously, you're going to see that this has not really affected our trading too much here. For the SPY, it did have a nice move up, and we just talked about it was a buy imbalance. So maybe we will be able to trickle down just a little bit in and then fill us up. But we are now that 28 cents in the money. And I don't have any more trades on board right here. So let's think about what's going to happen tomorrow. Look, I think the banks beat. Whether or not that means the market takes them to the upside, we'll see. I talked about that with Andrew today, and I just think that, 210, it's all-time highs. You've really performed well over the last little minute. I think that the banks could be primed for a little bit of a disappointing run here. So
I see what you did there.
What's that? Prime? Oh, the prime rate?
Primed.
Yeah, that would have been
Ranks
good.
are primed.
Yeah. It was, as soon as I said prime, I thought about that, and then I thought about Deion Sanders, who unfortunately will never get a job anywhere again, probably. Everyone's transferring out of Colorado. That's going to be...
We care about Travis Hunter and Shador.
Well, yeah, those guys, but they'll get drafted high.
Travis Hunter is going to be a...
I would not draft Shador, that's for sure.
Travis Hunter's the dude.
Yeah.
He's
the dual threat.
Oh,
right?
He's legit. Yeah, but he's going to be a wide receiver.
Is he?
Yeah. I don't think the thing, he's a big boy. He can play
drafted higher.
He could play corner. Don't get me wrong.
That's what I'm saying.
He's probably... Most people tell you he's like a late first-round pick or maybe an early second-round pick as a corner, but he's a legit top 10 pick as a wide receiver. And when people spend that much money on a guy that can be like your number one wide receiver, they're not going to want him out there tackling running backs, man.
No. You don't play two ways in the NFL.
Yeah, you just can't. You don't play two ways in the NFL.
I just wondering where would he be? What would he be drafted as?
No, he would get drafted as a corner. There's no question. But he's a legit wide receiver, man. He's a bit of a beast. So I like him. Shador is probably going to get drafted really high. But if I had to put money on one of their careers, I would rather put the money on Travis Hunter. And that's not a knock on Deion's boy.
He's the early favorite for number one overall right now.
I'd probably fade that bet.
Sanders.
Let's go to Adara.
I have Microsoft up here, not doing too much, but MSFT on watch here because OpenAI, which Microsoft has invested heavily in, has reportedly, according to Bloomberg, come up with a set of levels to track progress towards building AI capable of outperforming humans. So OpenAI working on some advanced AI software. Keep an eye on MSFT with that Bloomberg report in mind, guys.
Still a top pick. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we're just talking about running quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I mean, we had Justin Fields. I mean, there's been good examples. Like Lamar got drafted so late.
Lamar,
and then he turned out to be what he is as well.
Lamar in college, I have nothing against Sanders.
No.
Lamar in college, he had no business going as low as he did. He was just on a different level. He was like a bigger, stronger Michael Vick, and Deion's boy Shador he's just it's not against him. I'm not trying to trash talk on the guy. It's just Lamar was at a different level. And Jam Losi, I got to address this before I mosey on up to the desk in a couple of minutes here. I had not looked at ACB. I feel like we pulled up the weed names the other day, and for some reason I did not look at this one. But that is a pretty decent run the last few sessions here, from $4.50 to $6 in a week for ACB, another 7% today, getting into some resistance. Maybe there's a squeeze play. The 50 periods here, the 630's been a big level. Yeah, I'd put this on the radar tomorrow. Like it gave you a consolidation breakeout. Maybe it needs another consolidate. 8%. Okay. This is 3 days in a row it's been making rallies. So break, consolidate, break, consolidate, break. Maybe it's got another day before consolidating, but this should be back on the radar. I know the other names are doing aren't doing much of anything. Like Tilray's not doing anything. So yeah, ACB, why not? And Jake Hizzle saying Travis Hunter is projected 9th and Shador is projected second. Fair enough. Like, I'm not an NFL analyst, but I'm just saying if I was putting money on it, I would put my money that Travis Hunter has the better career. I don't get to be a decision maker. I don't have a team. I don't get to draft one higher than the other, but I'm taking Hunter's career over Sanders all day, every day. I've seen, and again, I love college football. Dude has it. There's that it. And he's got that dog. That Travis Hunter kid. He's got that dog.
Yeah, that's what you want to get at it. And we have, if you're mistaking me for a trader, yeah, maybe we have that dog in us as well today as we bark pretty loud coming through again. And it's been just a good day to trade back through. We just hit those. You know what? Now that's at 200 right there, let's just get it out. We are now in imbalance territory. So, if we're able to get something down low here on the SPY, let's just do that right now. And see, here you go, 56, 91, 93s, 92s. Yeah, no, yeah, I'm not super, the market's already down 2%. Like, if we can get a bid right here, let's do it. There it is right there. Yeehaw. Nice way to end the day. We'll end the day, as we just mentioned, at our highest spot. And yeah, pretty happy with it. All right. Yeah, we're getting ready for the market recap show where are we in touch for any earnings today? I don't think
nothing.
We are.
No,
We are getting ready for tomorrow
morning.
of course.
Tomorrow morning we got the banks. No names aftermarket. It's going to be all about the banks and all about Danielle Shea. So I'm moseying on up to the desk. We've got Danielle Shea from Simple Trading. It has been the murderer's row of guests today. Raheem Alani, Raider, Trader. Oh my goodness. So we have everybody coming through. And I want to give us.
You forgot Ryan.
I forgot Ryan. I forgot Ryan. Obviously, thank you very much to Ryan coming through. But I also want to give a big shout out to a special surprise that we're going to have as well on our market recap show. So stick around for that.
All right, stick around for a special surprise on market recap show. I might stick around for that as well myself. But yeah, good luck, Neil. Good luck tomorrow.
I think you know.
I know. Oh, okay. I don't as of right now, but okay. We'll look forward to that anyways. Obviously, we're very excited to bring you more content as we go. So yeah, enjoy, Neil, and yeah, speedy recovery, and definitely a healthy. Yeah, we'll do a little bit of both. Tomorrow we'll get that. And if you could have one flavor, what would you get from Wingstop there?
No, like normally I like
jerk. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna grab the lemon pepper. Okay, we'll go. All right. Yeah, that was hot fire. The mango habanero, I think, was Ramin's. Was that Ramin's last time? Yeah, see? Never forget what important women in your life tell you. Okay, so that was a good one. All right. Yeah, look, it's 3:58 right now. We just got out of our SPY trade. It is starting to come to the downside, but that's a decent name. Anything else you guys want to look at? Bitcoin? Yuck. Not happy with Bitcoin performance here today. I don't think many of us would be looking down at 57 and 31. We almost took out 59. We did take out 59.5 today early on, but then we did not recover late. So unfortunately, that's what's happening right now with crypto. Just needs to settle down a little bit. And I think we can get a little bit back on that. Let's just take a quick look at some of the bigger names. So Apple, I was just saying how happy we were with the recovery, and then that happened. Nice little fall into the close there for this name. That's that. AMD and Amazon, we can always, of course, look at that. Yeah, hey, no problem. You can get water if you want there, Adara. Coming through. So Adara and Neil will be with you in roughly 1 minute. AMD down 1. What's Meta up to? 535, down 4 percentage points for Meta today. We hadn't traded that in a while because the spread is a little bit too much there for me at times. We make back on AMD. We had the triple Qs. Meta Amazon today, right there, nice move. We did buy those 193s. Wow, 195 close. Really strong close there. Let's remember that tomorrow. Amazon, nice recovery back. Google's been at all-time highs. Did that recover back as well? Not really. Well, 186 is not bad, but still near the lows of the day. 185.20, we were higher up there as well. 187. So here we go. We have now only 15 seconds before we get that countdown going or before the bell rings. Okay, then I will go hands off. I do not have to hit it. Ooh, but it's 4 seconds late. That's why you got to change that right now. So the market will officially close in 3, 2, 1. We are now closed. Hello. Right there, a little bit of a big ring there to end the day. Look at this nice print up there for Google. It looks like it might have had a buy imbalance. Nice trade long there on Google at the end of the day. Did everything sort of bump up there? No, not really. Look at the SPY. What did that even do at the end of the day? Collapsing all over itself there, down to 556 and change for the spiders. Look, it's 4 o'clock. Again, want to thank Raheem Alani. I want to thank Ryan Faluna. I want to thank Andrew Rader as well today. I want to thank Ramin Fabian, Adara Sharif, Brendo, everybody behind us, Brankles and Wayne. Anybody, Bears versus Bulls. Big shout out to Bears versus Bulls. Put those ones up in the chat, by the way, for Mr. Bears and a Bull, because he's got you both covered, no matter what side you're on right there. So, hey, look, I'm excited to see what this big surprise is here on the after show. So that should be a good one here. It is your market recap. I want to ask Danielle, I'm sure Neil will do this, about Broadcom and where we're looking for that one. Tomorrow, coming last day, pre-split. We'll get that on Monday, the 15th. But yeah, good day here so far. I hope everyone has a great rest of your evening, but it's about to get a lot better as we throw over to the market recap show. Thank you, everybody. See you tomorrow, 8:30.
Yes, sir. Let's get some aftermarket show started, and some chicken wing action is all I can think about. If I make some references in the next 30 minutes to beer and wings, it's because I have it on my brain, and I promise you, when I wake up tomorrow, I'm going to say to my wife and just be like, where are we getting chicken wings from and when are we going to have them? Adara, this is one of the weirdest days. It's great to the south side, but as Sean just finished saying, you had this big reversal. It went from like everything breaking out and looking good, like Tesla went from good to bad. This is a day where the NASDAQ went from making all-time highs, another press to the top side, to being down 2%. Where Tesla looked like it was going to continue its run breaking out, to basically closing down 8% as we speak. And then you throw in the fact that we started the day with CPI numbers coming out lighter. The market was running because inflation was light. And then we end up with an absolute dump off. That's what is so exciting about trading. You never know what you're going to get. I could drop a Forrest Gump quote, but you guys know a box of chocolates there. Fabian just said it. The market's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. You start the day thinking it's going to be a rally, but you had to be able to flip the script and look for those shorts late. And then even at the end of the day, there were some breakout opportunities. And there we go. We've got some... shout out to Ramin for bringing these, but a big shout out to Big Patty Ice, who hooked us up with the Lindor chocolates. I will do my best not to eat any when I'm supposed to be talking, but you promise you this, I'm going to have some of those for sure. The market, not a great day overall. The NASDAQ, as I said, down 2%. As we do the sector recap, SMH got hit. with NVIDIA having the down day that it did. 3.5% to the downside there. I think it's interesting that we had Raider Trader on, and he was talking specifically about some of the solar names looking for bounces, and TAN leads the way. So TAN was up there. He also mentioned some financials. We were talking about that. KRE up 4%. Gold had another fantastic day as well. But yeah, this TAN ETF, one of the big time runners, one of the stronger moves, yet you're getting a bottom here. Like that's a strong stock on the day, but wow. Because all I see is a downward trend there when I look at TAN, but maybe we've made a little bit of a bottom. Those can be exciting ones to be had. And I just want to also talk about GDX, which is continuous breakout that we've been talking about for a little bit here. GDX with its breakout, but its partner, not maybe the partner, but GLD, the gold trust, has yet to take out this top. So you've made the nice little dip buy off the 212. You've held the 50-period moving average. Those kind of like scalps have happened on a swing basis, I suppose, but you still have a triple top to work with on GLD. So you always want to understand where are we getting to, what's that overall picture, because it's not always just about what is NVIDIA doing. Although today, Adara, if Tesla was the only thing that you looked at today, you didn't need much else. But there's certainly a heck of a lot that is looking green and strong. Energy is well up 1%, I want to mention. But wow, Tesla, wow. You were obviously involved in Tesla. Did you take any trades yourself in what was one of the biggest moves we've seen in a while?
Yeah, I did have some trades. Ironically, and I think this is, like I said, the not being able to pun weirdly threw me off my game. I had one of the worst mornings I have had, like, in a while for the first hour, and that was because of, I think when you stifle a part of yourself, I don't know, things don't feel natural, you struggle, not the point. The reason I bring this up, though, is because Tesla had that move down, and that's usually my favorite type of thing to trade, is you have these moves down, you find a moment in the book where things settle down, you take it further. I had long off that. I got about 50 pennies on one of those moves. That was successful, and I tried to get the short, but it was such a FOMO play, just because I wanted to be where the people were. Shout out to the Little Mermaid, apparently. And I just really wanted to be in it, and so I ended up taking a short, lost on like $1 that you get, yeah. I lost like $1 on that, so it was just like, I wasn't trusting my instincts enough. I wish I had had that move down on a day where I was like more mentally with it, but still happy with the long I took. Just too bad I kind of erased it with the short.
Yeah, I'll echo that sentiment to a certain extent because I had a bit of FOMO on Tesla myself, but it had to do with, it wasn't this move. It was in here off this like 250 level. It came back in and was retesting while all this lower high stuff was getting put on. And I actually did similar to something we talked about in the morning show where I misplaced a stop order, got into position, and then got out right away. So what happens is we have the ability at Real Trading sometimes, depending on what stop order you use, where I can throw a stop to cover 100% of my position before I'm in position. So an example would be if I want to stop out at 251 on this move, I could just put an order. I'm not even in it yet. It's on the way upside. I could put my stop and say 251.25. If it breaks 251.25, cover 100% of my position. I'm not even in position yet.
Yeah.
Then you get into position and your stop's already covering you. Now the problem would be if I, instead of putting 251.25, put 250.25. I do that, and then I get into position as it's breaking and you're getting these half fills. Well, guess what? If you're getting short at 250.5 and you accidentally put the stop at 250.25, it's already above it. So I get into position, stop instantly triggers, you punch in and out right away. So it was pretty unfortunate for myself. But at the end of the day, you're still bleeding and breaking lows of the day. I see Kevy saying Tesla's bleeding, breaking lows as we speak. You're right. Grace, shout out to you. Tesla made your day. I think the shorts were absolutely fantastic for this. And it didn't hurt that you had that false break early on that CPI number and the overall market was coming back in. That was extra fuel for, I think, what we saw in that dump there in Tesla. So we'll see what happens. Maybe there's some continuation tomorrow. I guess I won't see tomorrow, but everyone is going to be locked and loaded and curious to see what happens with Tesla. But I think you were right to try to be trading on the news, get some mental reps in. It's amazing that you're able to make money on a long there because it was a pretty heavy bid. And that's a dangerous thing to trade against the news on something like a Tesla.
Yeah, in retrospect, I know it sounds, but it's like I had a lot of trust in what I was seeing in the book. I think it was like, I want to say 253.50 to 254, and I was seeing we were bouncing off that 253 nicely. I watched how we were holding. I was like, you know what, Adara, like, worst case scenario, risk it into 253, but I didn't even really have to. We held it really well. It was a planned scalp. I was like, I don't want to take it past the whole dollar level because I don't trust that. But I was like, if I'm going to take the downside on the whole dollar breakdowns, I can also long, like, you know what I mean? I played it the flip side of how I normally would have shorted it. Again, don't know why I didn't short it. That would have made more sense. But I felt more confident in the long at that point, and it ended up being the better play for me personally.
Yeah, and I think at the end of the day, you just have to have a plan of action. That's what it comes down to. Now, I know for myself, I think you don't want to always go against that news, no matter what it might be. But as long as you can find good levels, there were some bounce plays to be had. No questions asked. I know we kind of glossed over the market here just a little bit, but when the Qs are down that 2%, I just want to remind everybody where we're coming from. Like, this is the biggest pullback day that we've had on the Qs. We've had a couple of days like this, but you got to go all the way back in here into April when you had a couple of big down days. And the second one of those did precipitate the dip. I'm talking about the dip that took us to our, ramp bottom. So I'm not, I don't necessarily think this is like, oh, rally's over, all that good stuff. We have pulled back and we're not even at previous resistance on the Qs here. So you do still have some names that are going to hit support levels where you're going to see some buying. And we got the start of earnings season as well, which is certainly going to prove to be very, very important. And let's not forget, when you got those banks reporting, we don't have any earnings aftermarket that matter, but tomorrow morning, Adara, we're leading it off. I promise you, when you start this watch list tomorrow, well, I shouldn't say for sure it's going to be the top name on the list. Maybe Tesla will be, but I know JP Morgan's going to be right up there. So high expectations for some of these banks.
Yeah, JP Morgan for sure. We also have Wells Fargo, which could be interesting. Citigroup is a tricky one. I've noticed this is like probably my third or fourth watch list that'll have Citigroup on it. And I've noticed with Citigroup, it usually comes out right at 8 a.m. But I think JP Morgan for sure, we know they moved last time on earnings. They usually tend to have some interesting results or some food for thought there. So definitely going to keep an eye on all of those banks. But yeah, we'll have to see. The name on the top of the watch list will be whatever's doing more volume, whatever has a more interesting move. So JPM, ball's in your court.
Yeah, you've got to respect that. And just keep in mind, too, I would say this every single time when we have these earnings come through in the morning, respect the fact that the call is going to be on. And when you have a call that's there for live trading, you do not want to get caught. That's the idea. If you don't know what's going on, then you got to be able to respect it. Go grab some, man.
I saw Ramin took one.
Well, you have to. Dude, Lindor chocolates. Are there any cookies in there?
Nothing.
So there's... Okay, so I just asked, you guys heard, I just asked about those cookies, the ones from Paris that are delicious, and then Fabian's like, no, we ate those, so they're all gone. But those cookies were delicious. Big shout out to Patty Ice, Big Patty Ice. You got to be able to enjoy life every now and then. But a good look, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, Citigroup, all three of them are going to be important. Let's see what's up. But I do believe, you guys let me know when we're locked and loaded. I do believe we are locked and loaded. We've got one of our favorite guests back through, so let's get right into Trader Talk. Danielle, so glad to see you. We got Danielle Shea, Trader Danielle, one of our good friends, on a crazy, crazy day to bring you in here. First off, welcome. Second, Wowa Tesla, but I'm burying the lead because we have a big, big, big congratulations to say to you. So I want to say congratulations. I know a lot of other people are saying congratulations to you as well. Why might that be, Danielle?
Well, I'm pregnant and I'm going to be having a baby girl coming up here in November.
There we go. And you know what? Congratulations. Everyone's excited for it. And you said November. I heard you right?
November, she said.
That's right.
That's a great and fantastic month. My mother was born in November. I think it's going to be amazing. Congratulations to you. I can tell you're obviously thrilled, and best of all for your family. Little girls are the best. I only have a daughter myself, so I'm absolutely through the moon for you there. And so I know you're going to be excited to be sure. But I always have one question because I only have one. I know Sean's always sort of said this many, many times. Like when you have this, or it's other people have said it too. It's like the first you're always like, overbearing and all that kind of thing. But then when you have a second child, you're like, oh, we're just going to be easy. We're going to spoil. We'll let them do whatever they want. Do you think that's how you're going to play it? Or are you going to be just as, like, usually protective of the first?
Oh, that's exactly how I am. This is the third one for me. And so, I've walked this walk before and definitely looking forward to it, but it's certainly different the third time around.
Everyone always says this, like, just eventually you're just like, yeah, they raise themselves. And I can't picture it because I only have one. As for myself, it's like if we have a second, I know that's how I will be, but that's always a big if. So Danielle, Tesla, what the heck? Like, what was that? That was completely insane today. It's all anybody would talk about as the move was happening for most of the day. So obviously we have to lead with the nonsense that happened there on Tesla. It went from one of the biggest breaks and squeezes, gamma squeeze, whatever you want to call it, to a bit of a rug pull when now the robotaxi presentation is getting delayed a couple of months. So walk us through any thoughts you might have on Tesla. It's got to be front of the brain.
Definitely. So when you look at the market in general here, I mean, it's been really extended. The put call was extremely low. So everyone was long. We knew there was going to be a pullback, and it does generally start with these high momentum names. So, just keeping that in mind, looking at Tesla, I mean, I think that the move overall has been phenomenal, and it actually surpassed my expectations. I mean, we had been talking about the 250 price target, right? And so we got up to 250 and it just continued blasting through that level. So the fact that it made it all the way up to, 270-ish before it rolled, I think was great. I think that the news was really just an excuse to get a lot of those momentum traders out of that move, because if you've been a part of this move, you want to make sure to take your profits, right? So a lot of the move on the way up was definitely short covering combined with excitement. And I mean, I think at this point, you just look for a pullback to get back into Tesla. What we need to do is we need to watch the momentum. We need to see when that momentum wanes. You need to look for some key psychological values. I mean, definitely 250 is one, but we've already broken through that one. So I would say 240 is the next one at the 8 EMA. If that ends up breaking, you don't have another level until down into 220. So fingers crossed, 240 will hold. But overall with Tesla, I am just watching for the momentum to stop at whichever point. And then when it does, I want to see if it will consolidate so that I can potentially trade it back up to the upside. But, we have earnings coming up, so that's a factor as well.
Yeah, that's something that we can't discount even a little bit here for Tesla. We're just the 23rd, right? Like it's coming in pretty quick. The only other level I'm looking at is I like trend lines a little bit. And I know it's lost any kind of real support for support and resistance, but that double top that it put in, or technically it was a little bit of a triple top, that channel, it would retest it at 2.25. And every now and then when something like that lines up, it's like, 200 or 2.25 or 250. If that just also happens to be back on a trend line, I like to look at that for the dip, but I do think you have to let this thing settle down. Like sometimes you catch a bit of a bid. I think the last time we had flash news from Bloomberg on Tesla, it was like Elon responded that day and it caught a bit of a bounce. And today we didn't get anything like that. There was no bounce really that was sustained. You ended up closing and still, we're talking aftermarket here, Daniel, we're still at the lows. So I know it's like a wait a couple of days moment for me on Tesla. If not, until we get earnings, I might stay away from this altogether.
Well, I think first of all, I agree with you. But second of all, I mean, I think that this kind of move is very typical when the market gets so extended. And so, if you look at, for example, just starting off with the NASDAQ, and you can see, I mean, we've gone basically, straight higher. And so when we're talking about the fact that we've been doing that for several weeks now, I mean, it needed to pull back. And when you look at a lot of these major names, you look at the semiconductors, you look at NVDA, I mean, the first thing that people do when you start getting a pullback like that, when everyone is long, is they're going to take profits, which, makes sense. So, I mean, for me, I am not looking at this as any kind of panic necessarily. I think it was overdue, and I think that it matches with how long the market has been. So, we'll see what happens, but I'm thinking maybe we can get just 1, 2, maybe 3 days of a pullback. Things can settle, and then we can see what happens from there. But it is all going to depend entirely on earnings season. You know, if we have, for example, bad news coming out of the banks, you know, that could mean that the pullback will last a little bit longer than just a normal buy the dip. So we're going to have to see what kind of news comes out tomorrow and into next week. But so far, I'm not too concerned about the depth of the pullback.
Yeah, I feel, yeah, wait and see is the way to go. We're going to get a lot of information, but there's not necessarily information coming. I don't have a good segue to Broadcom. But we've talked about these splits before, and clearly when NVIDIA pulls back, the SMH down 3.5% today. Like, you know, it was probably all of these chip names were probably due for some kind of a pullback. In retrospect, you know, it's easy to look at Broadcom and the higher low that it put in. It's like, oh, maybe people are getting out in front of it. And when you had like 5 days in a row of the exact same level getting sold off, maybe people are selling already into this event because on Monday it's going to be split adjusted. Walk us through, maybe for anyone that isn't adverse to the stock. A lot of people probably don't touch it as day traders. They're like, you can only really play options on it. But the benefit of the split is also fantastic for options traders too, as well. So what are your thoughts on this split? Are you interested, as obviously everyone would have been in NVIDIA, or is this kind of a nothing burger?
I'm extremely interested in Broadcom. I love the company. I love the stock. I own it in my long-term stock portfolio. It has been pretty challenging to trade in the options market for someone like myself who trades a lot of spreads and butterflies because it's just such a high-priced name and there's just not very good liquidity in a lot of the strikes. And so, you know, for me personally, I have not traded it very often in the options market I would say probably the last 2 years or so. Which is a shame because I love the stock and I'm so excited for the split because when it splits, you know, you're not going to have as many strikes. There's going to be more than likely more volume in the strikes that you have. So you're going to have tighter spreads, which will make it a lot easier for me to create spreads and butterflies. So I'm really looking forward to it. I'm also looking forward to it as a shareholder as well. And, you know, I would love to buy some more shares. It's been, you know, pretty extended at this point. So I don't know at what point I would do that. I'd have to go and look at this long-term chart. I mean, if I could get more at 1,400, 1,450, that would be great. But I don't know that it's going to pull back that far. So you might only be able to get it maybe 1,550 if it did pull back that far. But I'm looking forward to trading it, and I'll definitely trade it after the split.
Yeah, I think that's what the sentiment for a lot of people. I think it makes a heck of a lot of sense, and it is a great company. I'll promise you this much: you're never going to be able to get a dip buy on it at 1,400. Obviously, no.
I think I'm dreaming on that one. No, so you never know. Maybe September, October, we get a deeper pullback.
Maybe
in the market. Maybe before the election. I don't know, but that's in my dreams, I guess, for now.
It could happen. I'm being facetious. It's just that, you know, when you look at that name, like it did. I'm only saying that because it went from like 18. It could happen. I don't know the future. What the heck? Like whatever. If I didn't know, if I knew the future, you know, I would just, you know, I would have been long this thing $1,000 ago, which I'm not, candidly. And I would have bought way more NVIDIA than I did and all that kind of good stuff. I'm just simply mentioning that because when it pulled back from 1,800, like it didn't even get to 15 clean. It went like 1560 and then a ramp job. Like when they start buying on a dip, like it's just one of those with good companies get to levels that the buyers are interested. I feel like you never get the price. You're not going to get the price that you want. And if you do, you probably don't want it in that moment. It's always like that bounce that's just a little bit ahead of where everyone is interested in buying. I had that happen to me on ARM when I was trying to dip buy it as well. But we've taken up some time here on a couple of what I think are fantastic ideas, like Tesla. Obviously, I think people got to wait and see. Earnings season is starting. Is there anything else out there that you are interested in as we head into earnings season, as we get that CPI number? Any specific names that you're interested in that we haven't talked about?
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, for me, I just think that everything depends on JP Morgan tomorrow. If you look at last quarter, specifically what happened, you know, JP Morgan, great company, great stock. They typically do well over earnings. But last quarter, we saw this 3.6% gap down, and it continued down for a few days. And that was actually what started the major downdraft in the NASDAQ. And so when that happened, if you go and you look and you say, okay, well, what happened in the NASDAQ right after JP Morgan reported earnings? What you will see is that was the time frame when we got an excellent buy the dip in tech. And so if you go back and you say, okay, that was right around here, that was April 12th. So do you see this move right here that happened, started right with JP Morgan earnings? I don't know if that's going to happen again this quarter, but a lot of the reason why it fell last quarter was because some of the things that they had noted in their earnings report, a little bit of jitters surrounding the high rate situation and just the overall economy. So if we do get a move like this, especially given the fact that we're heading into this earnings season right now, I just want to focus on buying the dip in tech. So Microsoft, for example, this is one that is pulling back right now. I have a couple different zones that I could potentially buy. 450 is a pretty good area of support. It's right at the 21 EMA. You also have a lower level at 440 and then another one down here at about 432. So I'm definitely eyeing a pullback in Microsoft, but more than anything, I just want to see how the market reacts to JP Morgan earnings, and I want to look at a variety of tech stocks and see which ones I can buy on the dip. Probably Broadcom, probably Microsoft. We'll see if we can get a buy in Amazon. It's just, here's the thing, everything's been so high that you haven't really been able to buy much with an edge. But now that things are pulling back, this is great news for us as traders. So I'm looking forward to the pullback, and I'm eyeing what I can get into on the way back up.
Yeah, Microsoft specifically, you mentioned those levels, and I'm going to say I am angry with Microsoft because that move that you talked about with the NASDAQ pullback and we got that great dip buy opportunity, I can tell you that personally for myself, I was waiting for in the high 370s to 380 was where I was going to pull the trigger on Microsoft. As you can obviously see, I got some dip buys. Tesla, Apple was good. Alphabet gave you opportunities. I got into those. I got more of those, but I missed the boat on Microsoft, and that was an unbelievable long. There's no chance I'm missing it this time if we get that expected move that you're mentioning there, Danielle. I think it's a great look. It's a super strong stock, and you want to buy, if we do get that pullback, we want to be buying some strong names. That's usually the way to go. So Danielle, tell us where everybody can find you, because I know you're always putting out fantastic content for all of our traders out there, but specifically for those that watch the show in our community that see us trade equity and want to learn about options. We all say the same thing. Make sure you check out Trader Danielle.
Thank you. Well, you can find me on my YouTube channel at Trader Danielle, and then also on Twitter at Trader Danielle.
There you go. And I'm willing to bet that at some point there is going to be a little mini you trading someday. Maybe, I don't know, possibly. But once again, I want to extend my congratulations. There's nothing better than extending your family and bringing life in the world. So we're all super thrilled for you. Bears versus Bulls was exciting. I can't wait to congratulate. And everybody around here just wants to say a big thank you and congratulations. Can't wait to have you on next, Danielle. We're all smiles here, as I know you must be as well.
Thank you. I always enjoyed joining you.
There it is. So all smiles. Best of luck trading the rest of the week. Let's get that dip in Microsoft. Trader Danielle, check out Danielle Shea, check out her YouTube channel. We will see you next week on Thursday, hopefully.
That's right.
as usual. And maybe we'll get that dip buy, as you said, in Microsoft. There it is. Thank you so much, Danielle.
Thank you.
We always talk about the market being so good at giving you opportunities and having a smile on your face when it's a good day trading, but nothing makes you smile more than when you've got great news to share with good people. So big shout out to Danielle Shea. We just couldn't be more thrilled for her.
Thanks and congrats to Danielle. Yeah.
Yeah, and the insights always fantastic. And I can tell you right now, when that move happened, the JPM and the banks and that pullback in the Qs, she was all over telling everybody to buy that dip in Microsoft. So I can promise you, like I said, I'll tell you candidly, I missed that dip buy, but she did not. And she didn't have to brag about it because I can brag for her. But buy the good stocks. That's what it's all about here. So we already did a bit of a trade review here, Darius. So I know we already kind of tech-talked that one, and specifically about Tesla trading that news. I think tomorrow is obviously going to be a pretty big day for Tesla. It's Friday. it was almost down double digits. You know where you should be locked and loaded, at least looking first on the things that move, and then go from there. We got a little thing that we like to do around this time.
We do.
So I want everybody, make sure that you are a subscriber if you want to be in the chat. Anyone watching right now and you want to be a part of roll call at the end like we always do, or you want to say a thank you to Danielle Shea for being on, or we want to say what's up to Adara, or any of us all day through, you got to be a subscriber to be in the chat. So get on in there so we can do the roll call. Adara's about to drop it like it's hot with today's roll call. I'm going to get in there myself so I can get my name called.
Let's get in there. Hurry, Bears versus Bulls, Andrew Chow, Smooth 1J, Finch Jane, Andrew Chow, Alex Diaz, Andrew Chow again here. Thank you so much again to Bears versus Bulls for everything you do. So lucky to have this awesome community. Thanks to Danielle, thanks to Neil, thanks to Fabian and Ramin. We've got For Profit, we have Ricky Peters, we have Neil here, Terra Engineering, thanks again for that super chat and for challenging me with the puns. We've also got here Ricky Peters, Finch Jane Fun Bubble, BW Trades, Darwin, Daryl Finch, Bristol, Jamlo C, John Szymanski, TH, Michael P, Brian Thompson, Jack of all Trades, Pineapple Endies, Neil Roberts, Neil Padell, Finch Jane, Christopher Holcomb, Brave, Scorpy, Charlie Tapp, Brian Wright, Sharon Harris, Investor Valone, Michael, Drew B. Bowles, Jay Spans, William Knight, Jeremy Newman, Maheshi Watkins, Mary L., The Deepster, Trader Buck, Finch Jane, The Piper, The Real Tech Geek, Daniel Shea, James H., NYSE Urbanista, Miss H. We have Odyssey Vice, we have Bob S., we have Sam Yip, we've got Richard Fenn, we have Michael Lopez, Derek B., Kamari Norwood. We've got a lot of people repeating here. Donkey Trader, For Profit, Bright Awakening, Paradox, Jim Rowe, The Piper, S. Samuel, John Szymanski. I think I've got everybody here. Thank you so much. Cootie Love, Cas Metello, Ricky Peters, Encore. I'm out.
There we go. Another mic drop moment. Thank you very much, there. And of course, man, Danielle Shea jumping in the chat, answering questions. I mean, come on. What more can you ask for? That's why this is the only trading community you are ever going to need. Shout out to Real Trading for making it all possible. Shout out to everybody in the chat, everybody in our Trader TV Live community. You know what you got to do. You got to hit that like and subscribe, and more importantly, you got to tune in tomorrow morning. You know it's going to be hot fire in the market. We don't have a down day like today without good opportunities tomorrow. So tune in bright and early, 8:30. You know what to do. It's going to be my man Obi on the desk in my stead with Sean. So there's going to be some absolute bangers. Guarantee you that much. So from everybody here, thank you, and see you tomorrow morning. Good luck trading.
And best of luck in your surgery.
Thanks.
Sorry, I had to get that in there.